Stability since 1849. And by Comcast. Call 1-800-COMCAST for TV, phone, and internet. Now, what a day for baseball here in the Motor City. It's the Tigers and the Cleveland Indians. You can't beat cotton candy. Pink or blue, doesn't matter, whatever you like. Tigers and Indians wrap up this series on a gorgeous day here at the ballpark. The Tigers off to a terrific start this year, having won 4 of their first 5 games. The Indians come in at 2 wins and 3 defeats. Kids opening day here at the ballpark. We had a couple of youngsters join us in the booth before the game, Rod, and of course a lot of the youngsters had a chance to do a lot of the different jobs: grounds crew, broadcasting, PR, you name it. They were part of a big day today.
I wish I'd have had a chance to do something like that when I was a kid, going to the ballpark. Just hang out with your favorite Tiger or favorite announcer or whoever that may be, and just kind of shadow them for the morning.
Well, the Tigers about to take the field. The youngsters waiting for the Tigers to take the field here this afternoon. And for Detroit, getting off to a quick start, something they certainly wanted to do because of the fact they have a killer schedule coming up. They'll be heading to the West Coast after this homestand is done. But so far, so good. The pitching has been outstanding for Detroit in the early goings. And the hope is Justin Verlander can continue that trend here this afternoon. And the big right-hander ready to take the hill as the Detroit Tigers take the field here this afternoon for the 3rd and final game in this series here against the Cleveland Indians. So the Tigers, dressed in the home whites, take the field in front of another pretty good crowd here this afternoon. We had better than 35,000 at the ballpark yesterday. Of course, 45,000 for the home opener. And Manny Acta hoping his team will avoid the sweep here this afternoon. Here is the starting lineup for the Indians, presented by Honda Bloomfield. It'll be Asdrubal Cabrera leading it off. He'll play shortstop. Michael Brantley is in center field. And batting second, Shin-Soo Choo is in right, followed by Travis Hefner. Johnny Peralta, not very good numbers career against Verlander. Matt Laporta is at first. The bottom 3 is Valbuena, Kearns, and Lou Marson here this afternoon. And now the hill for the Tigers is Justin Verlander. Here's the scouting report on Verlander presented by Scott's Lawn Pro.
Last year, Verlander won 19 games, but he didn't win his first game until his final start of the month of April. He'd love to get in that win column here this afternoon, and there's not a whole lot for him to improve on, but one of the things he can improve on this year is pitch count management, and that's throwing about 70 pitches in 6 innings instead of last year. On occasion, Verlander would be at that 70 pitch mark around the 4th inning, and when he's hot, he's hot. In his 65 career wins, a 1.92 earned run average, simply dominant for Verlander. Let's take a look at the defenders behind Verlander in the ball game, presented by Beaumont Hospitals. You've got Kelly, that being Don Kelly in left field, making his first start of the season. Austin Jackson's in center. Ordonez in right. Santiago Sizemore Cabrera round out the infield. And Gerald Laird is back behind the plate this afternoon after the youngster Alex Avila caught Bonderman yesterday.
So Don Kelly gets the start out in left today with Damon getting the day off. Kelly started a game at third base in that series against the Kansas City Royals. So the very versatile Don Kelly is out of the outfield here this afternoon. Justin Verlander ready to go to work. And against the Royals on Monday, and no decision in that game. Struck out 6, walked only 1. And threw 93 pitches in that ball game as Asdrubal Cabrera leads it off. And the first pitch of the game is fouled back by Cabrera.
Looked like first time around the pitching rotation, Jim Leyland tried to keep all of his starters right around that 90 pitch mark.
And he was able to do that for the most part, which is outstanding when a manager can do that. And of course, that obviously means that their pitchers were going deep enough into the game. 0-2 on Cabrera. He is leading it off. It is 54 degrees at game time here this afternoon. And a bright, sunshiny day, as the great George Kell used to say. 0-2 on Asdrubal Cabrera. And he fouls another one back.
That is nothing new for Verlander. When he takes the mound, the opposing team generally fouls off 25 to 30 pitches every time he starts.
That's a lot.
3 already today.
Now Cabrera steps out. He has hit in all 5 this year for the Indians. 3 for 8 in this series. And Verlander's 0-2. Pulled into right field, base hit. So an 0-2 single to right for Asdrubal Cabrera. Leadoff man is on for the Cleveland Indians. That'll bring up Michael Brantley, who originally was batting lower in the lineup, but Grady Sizemore a late scratch today with back spasms. So Brantley is bumped up to the 2 slot, batting .231, 3 for 13 to start the season. Brantley has 1 RBI so far this year. Verlander with that good quick pickoff move nearly got Cabrera.
I don't think there's a right-hander in baseball that has the kind of foot quickness that Verlander has when picking the first base.
And that combined with Gerald Laird's ability to throw out runners, very difficult tandem to run on here this afternoon as Brantley shows bunt, takes a strike. He thought that pitch was out of the zone, but apparently he offered. 0-1. Michael Brantley grew up around baseball, the son of Mickey Brantley, used to play for the Seattle Mariners. And Michael, as a matter of fact, made his big league debut against the Tigers here last September.
Michael's dad was also a big league hitting coach with the Toronto Blue Jays when John Gibbons was the manager there.
Oh, 0-1 on Brantley. Brantley is 0 for 3 in this series against Detroit. He has Inge on the grass at third defensively, just in case. And there's a pitch that misses outside. 1-1. Tigers have won the first 2 games in the series. The opening day win, and yesterday some outstanding pitching from Jeremy Bonderman en route to the 4-2 victory. Verlander keeping a very close eye on Asdrubal Cabrera. He has attempted 3 this year. He's been caught twice. And another one. This one close again as Cabrera applies the tag a little bit tardy.
Verlander doing a very nice job of keeping Cabrera at first base, and should he stay there and not try to steal and Brantley hit something on the ground, the way that the Tigers have been turning double plays this year, Verlander's got a pretty good opportunity to get himself a ground ball double play, even though Brantley runs well. The Tigers in their 5 games this year have already turned 8 double plays, which leads the American League.
Slapped foul back out of play, 1-2.
They've played well. Defensively, they've been good. They've turned the double play when they've needed to do so, which is what you have to do if you're going to have a good team. And their pitching is at the top in several pitching categories in the American League. Offense is a little bit behind, but sometimes that doesn't matter as long as you get a big hit or 2 during the course of the game and you pitch the way they've pitched.
That's hit towards second base off the glove of a diving Scott Sizemore into center field. Cabrera is headed to third. He'll go in there standing up.
Sizemore misread that ball. I think he thought that ball was going to bounce, and that ball stayed up, and I'm not sure if it hit him on the glove or if it hit him on his left wrist.
Might have been the wrist.
He hasn't shown any signs that that ball hit him on the wrist, but looking at the replay, it looked like it hit him on the wrist, but it looked like he thought that ball was going to bounce. The way that he went after it, not like you would go after a typical line drive about 2 steps to your right.
So an early scoring chance now for Cleveland. Shin-Soo Choo, who has struggled out of the gate for the Indians, only 2 for 18 and has struck out quite a bit. He'll try and put his team on the board first here with runners at the corners. Choo is 0 for his last 11.
Cleveland knows the importance of getting off to a very good start against a dominant pitcher like Verlander. A lot of times you can get real good pitchers early, but after they settle in, they become very difficult to hit.
He went around on the appeal down at third. Angel Campos said that he went, so the count is 1-1 on Choo. That's a good point, and I think we kind of saw that in that game against Kansas City.
Choo has had a lot of check swings already in this series, and you can kind of see why he has struck out a bunch already this year. He's a little jumpy in the batter's box. He's not trusting his tremendous bat speed that he has right now.
We mentioned Verlander's numbers last year against the Indians. 41 strikeouts against Cleveland.
Real nice fading change up there to Choo.
Here's the 1-2. Slap foul back out of play.
Just about every fastball that Verlander throws these days is 97 miles per hour and above. He pitches at 97 miles an hour, and when he really needs to, if he wants that strikeout up in the strike zone, he can get up to 100 miles an hour on any given pitch. He has that kind of ability. Must be nice.
Very few can do that. Very few are blessed to be able to do that.
One of the best right-handed pitchers in the game today. And there are a lot of good ones. Felix Hernandez comes to mind. Of course, Zach Beckett. I'm just talking about the right-handers.
Now the 1-2. 2 balls, 2 strikes on Shin-Soo Choo. Leadoff singles by Cabrera and Brantley here in the first inning. And Verlander in a bit of a jam. That's high. Run it full now at 3-2.
By running the count full to 3-2, even though Choo has struck out a bunch, more than likely Brantley will be off and running from first base. And he'll be trying to get a pretty good jump just in case Choo strikes out. A lot of times in this situation, 3 balls, 2 strikes as a base runner, you're simply relying on the hitter to put the ball in play. You're not trying to get such a great jump because you don't want to run the risk of getting picked off.
Runner holds, and there's a ball. Ball 4. That's going to load the bases with nobody out.
That turned out to be a pretty good at-bat by Choo after he fell behind just at 1 ball, 2 strikes.
Well, that's going to bring up Travis Hafner now, the designated hitter and the cleanup man for Cleveland. Verlander tries to regroup. Hafner, with the bases loaded, 309 grand slams in his career.
I think he hit like 6 in 1 year.
He did, yeah. And it's amazing. Every time we seem to show numbers with guys with the bases loaded, a lot of times they're really elevated. Guys seem to lock in when the bases are juiced and you have an opportunity to drive in some runs. 0-1 on Hafner.
Concentration level goes way up, especially for the veteran players. Some of the younger kids, they're not as good with the bases loaded because they tend to press in those situations. But your veteran hitters, the guys that have been around for a while, they know how to get the job done when the bases are loaded.
Hafner has hit a couple of home runs in his career against Verlander. He's behind in the count here, 0-2. Cabrera singled to start the game. Brantley is at second base. He also singled, and Choo is at first.
A strikeout here would greatly aid Verlander into getting out of this inning unscathed with Johnny Peralta standing in that on-deck circle.
Oh, 0-2. There's a drive in the air toward left field. Kelly is on the move, still going back to the warning track. That'll get a run in. All 3 runners move up on the deep fly ball by Travis Hafner, and it's 1-0 Cleveland.
That is a productive at-bat by Hafner. Oh, no balls, 2 strikes. Verlander tried to throw the fastball by him. It was up. It was 98 miles an hour. Somehow, Hafner still got on top of that ball to do his job, and good base running by Choo. Getting up to second base, realizing that Kelly in left field was still backing up when he caught that ball.
So the Tigers will elect to pull the infield in here in the first inning. Halfway, maybe. Now they're backing up a little bit. And they're backing up all the way back. And so Peralta will bat now, with runners at second and third, and a 1-0 lead. Johnny off to a slow start as well, just a $188 so far this year. And the point you made about having the double play stay in order would have been a good one, especially with Peralta up there, who tends to hit into a few.
Yes, he does. That's why that was good heads-up base running by Choo, and I'm sure Sandy Alomar Jr., the first base coach, told him to run on that particular fly ball to left field.
Peralta has knocked in 1 so far this year. 18 strikeouts in his career against Verlander. He's walked only once. And when you look up and down this Indians lineup in terms of what they've been able to do against Verlander lifetime, you're not going to see too many good numbers.
Verlander 41 strikeouts in 40 innings last year against Cleveland Indians batters.
Here's the 1-0. Well, you may recall Verlander got off to a slow start last April. Justin had an ERA in the 6s in the month of April. A 1-2 record, but once the month of May rolled around, he was 5-0 and he was off and running. 1-2 now on Peralta. Third in the Cy Young voting last year, Justin Verlander. Brantley at third, Chu at second. Here's the 1-2. Pulled foul and it'll rattle around the seats down the third base line. So they are making Verlander work early in this one. Justin has a walk. He has thrown 22 pitches already here in this first inning with only 1 out.
And that was our second bullet point on the pitching profile this afternoon, was pitch count management for Verlander today.
Swing and a miss. Peralta goes down. His first strikeout. That'll leave runners at second and third.
As a rule of thumb, to have a successful start, you want to be anywhere from 14 to 16 pitches in any inning, especially for Verlander. That bodes well for him and allows him to stay in games a lot later. And Jim needs to use his bullpen a lot less on Verlander days.
Well, here's Matt Laporta now with 2 outs. He is 0 for 4.
I don't know what that last pitch there was to Peralta, but boy, did it have a lot of run to it.
Popped him up. Behind the plate. Let's see if it gets back to the seats, and it does, about 4 rows back.
Maybe Johnny Peralta should have come up with a sore back today, because he's got 19 strikeouts now against Verlander.
Peralta with back spasms would have made sense today, I think.
Yeah. Little Verlanderitis.
Yeah. Who knows? Of course, the Indians without Grady Sizemore, he is out with back spasms. With Peralta, with all those strikeouts against Verlander, has picked up another one in this game. Here's the 0-1 to Laporta. Laporta, like Brantley, made his big league debut here in Detroit last year. One of the prime pieces that Cleveland got in return for CC Sabathia in a trade made with Milwaukee. The 1-1. And he was considered, coming out of college, one of, if not the top power hitting prospect. He came out of University of Florida. Verlander 1 pitch away now from getting out of this inning, allowing just the 1 run. Here's the 1-2. Did he go? No, he did not. Tony Randazzo said he held. Two and two. High, 3 balls and 2 strikes. So Verlander now approaching the 30 marker. He's thrown 28 pitches.
Well, you've got to give the Indians some credit. They're doing exactly as any club would want to do against a guy like Verlander. When you go up against these premium starters in the American League, you want to drive their pitch count up as far as you possibly can to get into the other club's middle relief.
3-2 pitch. Yet another foul ball to keep it alive.
That's why that slider, when Justin finally gains enough confidence to throw that pitch whenever he wants to, is going to be a really good swing and miss pitch for him. He gets lots of strikeouts, majority on fastballs and breaking balls, but they tend to foul off a lot of the fastballs that he throws, just as Laporta did there. But that slider would give him a legitimate swing and miss pitch.
And he walked him all four inside and low. That will load the bases. Second walk in the inning for Verlander.
Batting seventh, the second baseman, number 1, Luis Valbuena.
That's going to bring Rick Knapp out, and that pitch was the 30th thrown by Verlander here in the first inning. So the pitching coach out to give Verlander a little bit of a break here and regroup with Valbuena due up. 2 singles, 2 walks, a sacrifice fly. The Indians have taken a 1-0 lead on a slow start to this one here at Comerica Park. Conversation is a brief one. The Indians doing their best here to break this one open early. Valbuena hitting just 167 digs in. Jim Leyland, by and large, has seen his pitching staff do terrific work. There's ball 1 outside. Tiger starters now have put up an ERA of 3.00 in 5 games this year. Outside, 2-0. Verlander in his first start of the year on opening day had just 1 walk. He has 2 already here in this inning. Slapped out of play. 2-0 pitch. Valbuena went after it. Hands out a souvenir. 2-1. 0 for 4 in this series. Valbuena, just 24 years old. Good looking young infielder. Has a little bit of power in that bat. 10 homers last year. And he drives one high in the air, deep to right field. Ordonez is going back to the track, to the wall, and that ball is gone. It's out of here. A grand slam for Luis Valbuena. And there's that power. His first home run of the season. The Indians have opened up a 5-0 lead.
Valbuena was tardy on the 2-1 fastball. But he wasn't tardy on this 2-0 fastball, but was not tardy on this fastball. Down and in. That's exactly where most left-handed hitters like to swing the bat and hit the baseball. And Lincoln Mercury Exmo, it shows us that's exactly what Valbuena did. He just dropped the bat head on that ball.
And all of a sudden it's 5-0 Cleveland.
Verlander's given up a couple of home runs this year to a couple of guys you wouldn't think would take him deep. Betancourt, the shortstop of the Kansas City Royals, hit a home run against Verlander last Monday.
Austin Kearns the batter with 2 outs.
Well, the Tigers from an offensive standpoint have done a very nice job this year coming behind and winning a lot of games. They'll have to do as much today.
1-2. Kind of been a recipe, not one that you want to follow every single day, but the Tigers have had comeback ability early on this season and down 5 in the first inning.
Baseball's a funny game. The last thing that we were expecting to see was a 5 spot by the Indians against Verlander in the first inning.
Yeah, especially when you consider the numbers we rolled up there that Verlander had put up last year against this Tribe team that really could do absolutely nothing against him, an ERA of less than 1.
They're taking a lot of pitches. They have not been all that aggressive today against Verlander.
Driven in the air to right, slicing to the corner it goes, and foul. Two-2 the count stays on the 8th hitter, Austin Kearns. Well, I'm not sure how many times Justin Verlander has thrown 40 pitches in an inning, but here comes number 40. And he missed inside. 3-2 on Kearns. And this is something you don't often see as well. Somebody warming up in a Verlander start in the first inning, and that's Eddie Bonan. Here's the 3-2 pitch. Fouled away.
Well, here are the numbers that Verlander was able to post last year against Cleveland batters. But you got to give Cleveland some credit. They know all about those numbers, and apparently They have made some adjustments here in the very first inning, which has allowed them to put a 5 spot on the board.
3 starts last year of 11 strikeouts against this Cleveland offense. Meanwhile, Kern's battling, fouls off another. Count stays 3-2. And he finally gets him. Kearns goes down on strike. Second strikeout of the inning for Verlander. We go to the bottom of the first. Big start for Cleveland. Up, Guillen is the DH. Inge is at third. Santiago, Laird, and Sizemore are your bottom 3 today for the Tigers. Austin Jackson will start things off against Jake Westbrook, and he looks at a ball down low. Jackson 1 for 8 in this series against the Tribe, batting .261. Trying to get something started here as the Tigers try and come back from a 5-0 hole here early on. Westbrook's 2-0 pitch. Taking ball 3 inside, 3-0. And on 4 pitches, the Tigers get the leadoff man on. Well, the Bernstein Advantage brings you the scouting report on Jake Westbrook. At the Bernstein Advantage, we go to bat for you.
Well, the Tigers may as well display more patience today. In the debut of Westbrook this year, he had 4 wild pitches in 4 innings pitched, and he also walked 4 batters. But back between 2004 and 06, he won 44 games for the Tribe. He was one of their main pitchers, and it's been a long road back for him. He's gone through Tommy John surgery, missed the entire season last year.
He throws a strike to Don Kelly, who's batting in the 2 slot today for the Tigers.
I was watching some of Westbrook's start in the Tigers clubhouse this morning, and it seemed like every 2-seam fastball that he threw was down and away from the left-handed batters.
Jackson on the run. Here comes a throw to second. Wrong side of the bag. It almost hit the umpire. And a stolen base for Austin Jackson.
Not bad. Tigers down by 5, but recognizing the fact that Westbrook really had forgotten all about Jackson on first base. Jackson gets a tremendous jump and able to steal that base rather easily. That's a good sign. Down by 5, still not going station to station. Going to put some pressure on Westbrook, and one of those reasons because when Westbrook is on, he throws lots of ground balls.
Second stolen base of the season for Jackson. Kelly is 0 for 2. Made a start in Kansas City, getting a start here today against the Indians. How many bases do you think Jackson could end up with this year if they allow him to run a little bit?
He can steal 25 bases, at least 25. That's starters.
The 0-2. is a bouncing ball back to the mound. There's your point about Westbrook getting ground balls. And one gone.
There was a time where they had CC Sabathia, they had Cliff Lee, they had Carmona, who was pitching well, and Westbrook. They had the makings of a really nice rotation.
It really was formidable, wasn't it?
And it looked like Cleveland was going to be a very good team for a long, long time. But when CC and Cliff Lee started winning Cy Youngs, their value went way, way up, and the Indians couldn't afford them anymore.
Well, here's the red-hot Maglio Ordonez. Hit a 2-run homer yesterday in his first at-bat. A couple of home runs already this season for Mags, 4 RBIs. Westbrook is 32 years old now. He's out of Athens, Georgia. He had that reconstructive elbow surgery in 2008, June of 2008. And so last year was a comeback season for him in terms of rehabbing that injury. And he appeared in just 3 minor league games.
He has had 2 elbow surgeries in his career. So he's been somewhat injury prone in his big league career. In Jackson, it looks like he wants to steal second base. He is jockeying back and forth out there and trying to disrupt the attention of Westbrook, which he's doing.
High fly ball into left field. Like he got it off the end of the bat. Kearns hauls it in.
Let's take a look at the Indians defense behind Westbrook. You've got Austin Kearns in left. You've got Brantley in center. Chu is in right. Peralta, Cabrera, Balbuena, Laporta. That's the infield. Lou Morrison is behind the plate, and you already know that Jake Westbrook is on the mound.
So Michael Brantley gets the start out in center for Grady Sizemore. A late scratch with back spasms today. Here comes Miguel Cabrera with 2 outs. Cabrera himself off to a very good start. 450. 1 for 6 in this series. Ball 1 from Westbrook. Jackson started the inning by walking, stealing second, but 2 outs later, Cabrera now is left to drive in this run.
The game plan for Tigers hitters today is to make Westbrook get the ball up. If the ball starts at your knees, there's a pretty good bet it's not going to be a strike. And because of the downward movement he has with his fastball. So what you want to do is you want to set your sights around the waist area. And you know if he does throw you that sinker ball, it's going to end up right in your happy zone, right around the knees, right about thigh high.
Well, Cabrera has had just 3 at-bats career against Westbrook, and he has only 1 hit in those 3 at-bats. That 1 hit left the ballpark. Two and 1. Tigers, for the most part, here in the early goings, have been able to ride their 3 and 4 hitters. Ordonez and Cabrera both have been extremely hot to start the year. And Jackson has set the table here in the first inning, and Cabrera trying to cash him in. 3 and 1 with Guillen waiting on deck.
Even with a 5-run spread, Westbrook is being awfully careful with Cabrera because he could very easily make it a 3-run game with 1 swing in the bat.
And there's ball 4. So with first base open, Westbrook puts Cabrera on. That is the second walk now he's given up in this inning. He'll try his luck here against Carlos Guillen. Well, there are some Tigers that have done pretty well against Jake Westbrook.
How about Santiago?
533.
Getting the start today, too.
Not coincidentally. Carlos, a 297 career against Westbrook, stands in there now. Ball 1.
if you're a left-handed batter, that sinker usually is going to tail down and away from you. So if you're Carlos, you can't be pull happy even though you're ahead in the count. And go ahead and slice something down that left field line.
Carlos right now is at 263. He has 2 to try and pick up. He's got Jackson at second. He's got Cabrera at first. One and two. Westbrook in 05 and 06 had 15 wins in back-to-back seasons before the injuries started to rear their ugly heads. He had been a guy that would throw 200 innings consistently.
This much we do know. When there are runners on base, he really slows the pace down. I don't know if he's doing it by design to really get under the Tigers' skin here very early on, or if that's just the way that he works. But he is very deliberate on the mound here in the first inning.
And now Guillen will step out, and the catcher Marson out to the mound.
I was reading Westbrook's bio last night. Did you know he threw 6 no-hitters in high school?
I did not know that.
This cat threw 6 no-hitters his junior and senior year in high school.
Pretty impressive. At any level, really.
You got that right.
6 of them.
He must have been dominant.
1-2. But did he make a kid cry like Justin Verlander did in high school?
He probably did. Pretty good bet he plucked somebody when he was real young, a hard thrower. Tigers are going to get back in this game if he continues to pitch the way that he is pitching right now. I know the youngster Talbot in last night's game was really picking around the strike zone, wasn't throwing a lot of strikes early. And Westbrook really not throwing a lot of strikes either. He's thrown 18 total pitches. 10 of them have missed the strike zone.
2 balls, 2 strikes on Guillen. Popped him up. It's slicing back toward the seats. Peralta coming over. So is Marson. Neither can get it. And back among the paying customers it goes.
What would Ernie Harwell say? That fan's from Livonia.
Oh, nice. Nice.
The great Ernie Harwell.
So Guillen will try it again here with the count staying 2-2. Boy, the big difference today is not much of a breeze, or at least not nearly as much as we had the last 2 days. That's pulled in the air down the right field line. It is hooking, and that ball will go back into the seats. Carlos just a little bit out in front of it. And that lack of wind here today has made it a very nice day here at the ballpark. Much more calm day. Not a whole lot of movement in Old Glory. Bouncing ball back to the mound. Westbrook will get out of this jam. And down goes Guillen. Down go the Tigers. 2 men left. On our way to the second. And since 2006, check out this list. Most victories since '06, and only 3 have more than Verlander.
Some pretty impressive pitchers on that list. 3 of the 5 have already won Cy Young awards. Verlander and Beckett being the 2 on that list that have not won a Cy Young, but they have the ability to do so. Beckett outpitched Zach Greinke last night in Kansas City.
I was listening to some of that game going home, and I guess the announcers were saying that the Red Sox weren't biting on that Greinke slider.
No, they weren't swinging at it, and it looked like it was a tight zone. I watched a lot of that game. Greinke gave a couple of home runs in that game. Second start of the year. Last year, Greinke pitched 111 innings before he gave up his first home run.
Lou Marson, the batter here, as we start things off in the second. He drives one high in the air into left field. Kelly has room in front of the track. One gone. Well, in that first inning, both pitchers combined to throw 64 total pitches. Unfortunately, Verlander threw 43 of them. But a much better start here in the second as Asdrubal Cabrera stands in. Cabrera had a single and scored a run. He's hit all safely in 6 now for the Indians. He looks at a strike. It's a pretty good looking player here. I mean, they've given him his opportunity. He has seized control of that opportunity after playing some second base. He's now the shortstop. And I think they feel pretty comfortable with Cabrera and Valbuena as their double play combination up the middle.
He's a nice two-way player. That much is for certain. He's got plenty of arm strength to play that shortstop position as he hits one to Santiago, the Tigers shortstop, and routine play for Santiago over to Cabrera for the second out of the inning. But Cabrera was the main reason why the Indians got into the postseason in 2007. When he came up at the end of the year after Josh Barfield struggled at that second base position, he really solidified the top of that batting order for Eric Wedge at the time.
Well, here's Michael Brantley now with 2 outs. Verlander looking for a snappy inning here. He's on his way if he can finish off Brantley, who's singled and scored.
Well, the Indians have to feel very fortunate they were able to put up that crooked number in the first, that 5 spot against Verlander, because they may not get any more this afternoon. That's how good he is, and when good pitchers settle in, it's tough to get them. You have to get them early, which they were able to do.
One and two. Foul back out of play. 1 ball, 2 strikes. The count remains on Michael Brantley. Cleveland had 2 wins, 3 defeats. They had taken 2 out of 3 from Chicago to start the year and then came here to Detroit. And the Tigers win opening day. They win yesterday. Here's the 1-2 pitch. Well, they always say that sweeping a team at the major league level, Rod's one of the toughest things to do. And you look at this matchup today, you got your ace on the mound, and all of a sudden it's 5-0.
No question about that. That's why they tell you want to win your series when you're at home, and you want to split your series on the road. And of course, the Tigers have already taken the first 2, so even with a loss today, they still win the series. But you do get greedy after you've won the first couple, and as you mentioned, you've got a big fella on the mound in Verlander.
Bonderman was outstanding yesterday in his first start. 2-2 pitch. In the air toward left, right at Kelly. There's your 1-2-3 inning for the Tigers. You're watching Tigers baseball this afternoon on Fox Sports Detroit, presented by Bell Tire.
On Fox Sports Detroit tomorrow afternoon against Kansas City. The Tigers at 1. Pistons versus Toronto at 7:30 on Fox Sports Detroit. On Tuesday, Tigers Kansas City at 1, and on Wednesday, Tigers Kansas City, Pistons Minnesota at night.
Another jam-packed April in the D. Tigers batting in the second, down 5-0. It'll be Inge, Santiago, and Laird facing Jake Westbrook.
4 walks for Westbrook on opening day in Chicago and 4 wild pitches, which means the Tigers have to be patient today.
Third baseman Peralta makes the play on Inge, 1 gone.
And Johnny had him played perfectly, and a lot of the right-handers will hit lots of ground balls to the left side of the infield because Westbrook primarily works at the bottom of the strike zone, and usually against sinker ballers, right-handers pull that ball on the ground.
We'll bring up Ramon Santiago.
When you have the kind of numbers that Santiago has against Westbrook, your confidence level goes way up when the game starts because you know you've had a lot of success. Regardless of how well he's pitching when he comes in, you just feel real confident standing in the batter's box right now if you're Ramon.
Showed you that number a little bit earlier, 533 against Westbrook. 8 hits and 15 at bats. 1 ball, 1 strike. Santiago. Cues that one fouled back out of play. 1-2. Jim Leland found last year that he had himself a pretty good combination at that shortstop position when he played Everett and Santiago almost evenly. I mean, I don't know if they'd call it a platoon, but it was pretty close. 2 balls, 2 strikes.
What Jim was able to do with both of those guys is keep them fresh, because he was able to play them quite a bit.
Got him, strike 3. Westbrook gets the best of Santiago that time. First strikeout for Jake.
Nice little swing back fastball by Westbrook. He started that ball right at Santiago. Santiago gave up on it, and it caught the inside corner.
So Gerald Laird now with 2 outs. Gerald still looking for that first hit this season, 0 for 14. Westbrook working quickly. Fires the ball up high. Laird had a terrific spring training down at Lakeland. In fact, he was 3rd on the team in RBIs by the time spring training ended. Peralta deep at 3rd base. I know that Gerald every now and then likes to drop one down the line. Steady pops this one in the air, shallow center field for Michael Brantley. And Westbrook has himself an easy 1-2-3 inning. 2 innings in the books here at Comerica. It's 5-0 Cleveland. By AT&T. See what's new at AT&T. Visit AT&T.com for details. And by GMC, we are professional grade. Back here at a sunny Comerica Park on a gorgeous day here in the Motor City. Glad to have you with us, Mario and Rod. Carolyn Morzinski is our producer today. Mark Isofano is our director. As we come to you from Comerica, Tigers got to get the bats going. They're down 5-0 in this one. Verlander back to the hill facing Shin-Soo Choo, Travis Hafner, and Johnny Peralta. Justin seemed to get his pitch count at least a little bit in order with a very quick 1-2-3 second. He threw 13 pitches compared to 43 in the first inning. 2 cuts and misses, 0-2, and we've talked about the slow start that Shin-Soo has gotten off to, 2 for 19, and even a guy that hits 300, as Choo typically has in the big leagues, doesn't really want to start this way. It's been a struggle for him. 1-2. Manny Acta was saying that part of the reason he believes for the slow start is the fact that he saw a lot of left-handers in that series against Chicago. But Choo last year batted .275 against lefties, so he typically has not been bothered by them.
20 home runs last year, the only member of their offense to hit 20 home runs last year.
That's in the air towards center field. Austin Jackson cruising over.
Verlander almost unhittable after he gets ahead of you with 2 strikes. And the career batting average against Verlander after he's gotten ahead of you with 2 strikes is under 140. So he puts you away usually.
1 gone, and here's Hafner. Five in a row retired by Verlander since the grand slam from Luis Valbuena. Hafner had a sacrifice fly with the bases full back in the first. 3 RBIs in the series. They play Hafner to pull. It's not that severe shift that you'll see with some of the other guys like Ryan Howard or Jim Thome.
Is it just me, or did they used to have more of a shift on Hafner when he was really going good a couple of years ago?
I think you're right. I think they did have that second baseman more toward a little bit to the outfield grass and more of a severe shift with the shortstop. But Hafner has battled some injuries in the last couple of years and has not really approached the home run numbers that he had in the past. Here's the 1-2. Slap the other way. It'll go foul. We were talking about his nickname, Pronk, yesterday. Did you know they have some Pronk beef jerky out now?
No, I did not know that.
Yes.
They sell it in Cleveland?
I don't know where you can get it, but I just read it's available. Just in case. 1-2. Even up the count, 2-2 on Hafner. Travis had the shoulder surgery 2 years ago in 2008, and because of that, when he came back last year, they were pretty much managing his at-bats. They didn't want him to play more than 3 or 4 straight games. And now Verlander has run the count full, 3-2. But Hafner ended up on the DL again for about a month last year. Dangerous bat when he's going good, that's for sure. 3-2 pitch. He lost in ball 4. 3 walks now for Justin.
Third baseman Johnny Peralta.
And here is Johnny Peralta.
If you're Cabrera over at first base, you can play a couple of steps in back of Hafner if that's what Jim wanted you to do. We know Hafner is not going anywhere, and it gives Cabrera a couple of steps off the bag to make a play should Peralta hit one down in that direction.
Steady pops it up. Shallow right field, Sizemore back. And there are 2 gone.
When Verlander is on the mound, defensively, if it's a left-handed batter, you have to look for balls in left field if you're the left fielder, because most guys aren't going to turn on Verlander's fastball. And you have to think the same way if you're Maglio in right field. When right-handers are up, most guys aren't going to be able to pull Verlander because he throws so hard. So you have to be ready when you're playing the opposite fields.
So here's Matt Laporta now with 2 outs. Ball 1. haven't been able to see a whole lot of Laporta. He came up in the big leagues last year, Rob, but they feel that this guy, once he finds his groove in the big leagues or at this level, is going to be a good run producer, good power hitter.
He's going to get every opportunity to evolve into the kind of star that they think he's going to be. He was the main guy coming from Milwaukee in the Sabathia deal a couple of years ago, and just a premium prospect in Milwaukee's organization, but now he's getting a chance to play in the big leagues. Whatever the game plan is for Cleveland today, it's been a good one against Verlander. They are laying off pitches that they normally swing at. A lot of these changeups aren't that bad a pitch, or even the breaking balls aren't that far off the plate. But John Nunnally, their new hitting coach, has got a really nice game plan for them today.
There's the strike, 3-1. Well, it certainly showed in that first inning when Verlander threw 43 pitches. He walked a couple of batters. He has a base on balls here in the third. And he's teetering on the brink of another. 3-1 pitch. The bouncing ball left side in the hole. Santiago gets the force. Side retired. Nothing doing for the Indians. Bottom of the third coming up. Traverse City, and it's my hubby Dale's birthday today. I assume that was Dale.
Well, happy birthday, Dale.
How old do you think Dale is there, Rod?
He's young.
Easy now.
Young. You know what Jay-Z says, 50 is the new 30.
There you go, quoting Jay-Z again.
I'll run with that one all day long.
Let's see, that's the second Jay-Z mention. Oh, man, we had one in KC. We got to start keeping the total.
I like Jay-Z. I listen to a little bit of Jay-Z.
Jay-Z's got some good stuff.
My kids kind of keep me young listening to that hip-hop every now and then.
He did New York, didn't he? New York?
Yes, indeed.
1 ball and 2 strikes.
Him and Alicia Keys.
Alicia Keys, right. Kids do keep you young, though, don't they?
Don't they, though?
Yep. Start listening to their music. Start losing your hearing.
Yep.
At least that's the case with my kids. 2-2. Sizemore, Jackson, and Don Kelly facing Jake Westbrook here in the third. Swing and a miss. Sizemore goes down.
Speaking of kids, I know you're not going to brag about him, but I'm going to brag about him. Your boy yesterday in a triple header hit a home run in each game. A 2-run shot, a 3-run shot, and then a grand slam. I bet you were ear to ear.
Well, I was happy. That goes without saying. I was very pleased for him. I was pleased for the school. Dakota won the Macomb Dakota won the tournament, the spring break tournament in St. Clair Shores. So congratulations to Macomb. But yeah, it was a good day. It was a good day yesterday. The Tigers started it off with a win, and that capped it off.
Congratulations, Brett. That's a day to remember.
Thank you very much for that, Rod. You didn't have to do that.
Well, why not? It's all over the newspapers today.
Jackson the batter now with one out. Chucky, did you put that?
Now the key is, was he able to get his head in the door when he got home last night?
He was so spent after playing 3 games. Right to bed. The 1-2 is down low. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Jackson had a walk and a stolen base back in the first. Tigers had a pretty good opportunity to score in that first inning, but could not. 2-2 pitch is swung on and missed. So another strikeout for Westbrook, back to back here. He now has 3 in this game. We'll bring up Don Kelly. Tigers still searching for their first hit this afternoon. We mentioned the 2 walks in the first inning. Kelly takes ball 1. Driven to right field. There's your base hit. Tigers get their first of the game. A 2-out single by Don Kelly. He hit last year at AAA, that's for certain.
Well, Jim Leland really likes what Kelly brings to the dance. He can play corner, outfield positions. He can spell you in center field. He can also play all of the infield positions. And his value became apparent last year when the Tigers were playing interleague play. When he got called up and the Tigers were in Pittsburgh. That's just the way that Jim used him. He brought him up for the National League cities on the road, and then he liked him so much he made this team out of spring training this year.
Kelly was an all-star last year at AAA and certainly proved his worth at that level. Maglio flied out his first time up. Snap throw and the runner back. Ordonez has hit in 5 straight to start this year. 2-run homer early yesterday gave the Tigers some breathing room. 1 ball, 1 strike. Ordonez trying to hit 300 again this year. He has hit 300 3 consecutive seasons. The last Tigers to do that, or last Tiger to do that, was Harvey Keene back in 1953 to 56. Blocked there by Marson.
One of the reasons why Maglio is off to a sizzling start is the fact that just about every time he steps in the batter's box, he's got a favorable hitter's count. Either the count's 1-0 or 2-1 as it sits right now. And a guy like Maglio that has that kind of hand-eye coordination is going to do a lot of damage in these types of situations.
Ball outside, 3-1, so the count is even better now. Especially with the man lurking on deck, Miguel Cabrera. There's ball 4. So Westbrook, after getting the first 2 batters, has given up a hit and his 3rd walk.
He's got nowhere to put Cabrera this time. And Cabrera's first time up today, Jackson was on second base with 2 outs. And Westbrook pitched around him, but now you really know where to put him. At least if you do walk him, you're really flirting with danger.
Cabrera 1 for 6 in the series. Still batting a cool .450 to start the year. And he drives one to right field, base hit. Here comes Kelly to third. They're going to send it. Here comes the throw to the plate, and he is out at home plate. A collision, and Marson holds on to the baseball.
You knew it was going to be close with Chu's arm and right.
Kelly did his best, bowling over Marson, but he held on to the baseball. The Tigers are turned back here in the 3rd. No runs. They get a couple of hits, and we go to the 4th.
after the laser hit off the bat of Cabrera in the right field. You knew it was going to be a play that was going to be close. You could see that now Chu has the ball in his hand, and Kelly's still 3-4 steps from the bag. And it was a collision, but he was out by 3 or 4 steps. Chu has one of your better throwing arms of any outfielder in baseball.
Kelly tried to jar the ball loose, couldn't do it. Here's the drive to center field. Jackson coming on. He'll back off and play it on one hop, and Valbuena has a single. And for the Indians now, their 4th hit here this afternoon. 5-0 Cleveland. They got all 5 in the first inning. There's Austin Kearns. Late addition to the lineup with Sizemore, the late scratch. Strike 1 on Kearns, the former Cincinnati Red. Breaking ball missing inside. 1 ball and 1 strike. Kearns last year with the Washington Nationals. And he looks at a strike. 1-2. Had a pretty good spring, hit 300 this spring, signed as a minor league free agent, a minor league contract in January, and ended up on the opening day roster for the Cleveland Indians. Spent 5 years in Cincinnati. Here's the 1-2. Fouled back out of play. Been a big day for Valbuena down there at first base. Hit a grand slam in the first inning, and now a single here to start things off in the 4th. Meanwhile, Eddie Bonine, who was warming up earlier in that 5-run first inning, in which Verlander threw 43 pitches, well, he's back up again. Breaking ball is hit toward left field. It's going to hook, and that is a foul ball. Into the corner it goes.
Cleveland's batters have done a pretty nice job of laying off the breaking balls at the bottom of the strike zone. So Verlander throws one and tries to sneak a strike by Austin Kearns. And Kearns just a little bit too quick on that hanging breaking ball from Verlander.
9th season for Kearns in the big leagues. Hit over 100 home runs in his career. Here's the 1-2. Got him. Strike 3. Verlander has his 3rd strikeout. This one comes here in the 4th.
Here are the previous pitches to Kearns, and then you've got the last slider at 86 miles an hour, which is a really good pitch at the knees, courteous of Fox Pitch Tracks.
1 out, 1 on. There goes the runner. And Valbuena will have to retreat after Marson sent it back into the seats. Lou Marson is 0 for 1 in this game. One of the things the Indians want him to work on is his blocking behind the plate. And they have Sandy Alomar Jr. on their staff these days. And Sandy was known as a terrific blocking catcher. There he is down at first base.
And that he was. Also Mike Redmond, veteran catcher of many years, also able to tutor Marson along.
Squibber hit the second base. Still might be 2. And it is a double play. 4-6-3 to end the inning. Verlander pitching out of any further trouble. Here's the AT&T trivia question this afternoon. On this day in 1968, whose pinch hit walk-off home run beat Boston 4-3 for the Tigers' first win of the season to start that 68 magical campaign? We'll get you the answer a little bit later on as Carlos Guillen leads it off. Guillen, Inge, and Santiago. Carlos 0 for 1, bounced one back to the mound to Westbrook back in the first inning. Carlos now 0 for his last 12, trying to get it going here. Tigers have just 2 hits here today. A couple of singles, both in that third inning, but Don Kelly was thrown out at the plate. Ball inside, 1-1. Westbrook this past offseason pitched in Puerto Rico, and winter ball is part of his rehab and coming back from the surgery. Threw only 12 innings, though. He didn't pitch a whole lot. Manny Acta said he saw him pitch in Puerto Rico, and he didn't look as nearly as good as he did in spring training, so they were much more encouraged by what they saw in spring camp. And the count goes to 1-2. But it's been a long road back. Reconstructive elbow surgery in June of 2008. For Jake Westbrook. Here's the 1-2. Off the inside part of the plate, 2-2. Fouled away. So is he back to form? Well, they're going to find out this year. You see the back-to-back 15-win seasons in 05 and 06, won 14 games in 04. And a good 3-year stretch for Westbrook. And in some ways, I guess, the same situation as Jeremy Bonderman, who's trying to come back from a couple of somewhat lost years because of injury.
Yep, good comparison. But Bonderman almost had to reinvent himself and has done a pretty nice transformation as far as his stuff is concerned, especially with that split-fingered fastball he was throwing yesterday. He threw quite a few of those.
There's strike 3 on the outer edge and 4 strikeouts for Westbrook.
Hey fans, groups have more fun at Tigers games. Group tickets, picnic, and party suites are on sale now. Groups of 15 or more get discount tickets to select games while supplies last. Call 313-471-BALL or visit tigers.com. Picnics and party suites.
Another good gathering here this afternoon.
Today's a good day for a picnic.
True. Here's Inge. Strike one.
They've allowed Westbrook to settle in. He is starting to hit the plate with all of his pitches now. A little slurve breaking ball, two-seam fastball, an occasional four-seam fastball to go along with the changeup. So if the Tigers' game plan was to be patient against Westbrook because he walked 4 batters his last game, and maybe they want to be a little bit more aggressive against him.
One ball and 2 strikes. On the ground to the shortstop, hit sharply, knocked down by Cabrera. And scooped at first in the backhand by Laporta.
There you get a look at Cabrera's very strong throwing arm from shortstop. After he bobbled that ball, he kicked it about 3 feet in front of him, but he didn't panic. He ran over, he picked it up with a bare hand and fired a clothesline across the diamond that bounced that Laporta was able to pick.
There's Santiago with 2 away. Only 2 Tigers hits this afternoon. I'll tell you one thing you're right about. Did he hit Santiago?
He did.
You're right about Westbrook. When there's nobody on base, this guy brings it home.
He does.
But when you have some base runners, it slows down dramatically. Look like the front knee. Clifton. There's Gerald Laird. Fly to center field his first time. Oh, look out. Down goes Laird, and he hit it too. Yes, he was hit. Wasn't sure if that was the helmet or the bat. Back-to-back hit Tigers, and Laird. Scary moment there. That thing came up around the helmet. Kevin Rand is out to make sure he's okay.
We told you that Westbrook in an opening start against the White Sox last week, a game in which he lost, he walked 4, he had 4 wild pitches, and he also hit 2 Chicago White Sox batters.
Yeah, that was so loud I wasn't sure if it was the helmet or the bat. Clearly on the helmet, although it looks like it was more of a glancing blow than a direct hit, but still nonetheless. Not a very comfortable moment there for Gerald Laird. So the Tigers have something brewing now with 2 outs. Back-to-back hit batters. Here's Scott Sizemore. Swing and a miss. 0-1 on Sizemore. Scott struck out back in the 3rd, 0 for 1. Make it 0-2 on the Tigers' number 9 hitter. Jim Leyland dropping him in the lineup for this game to 9. Sizemore, for the most part, has been batting in the 7 or 8 slots. Tigers have 2 men on. But the count is 0-2. Just off the plate, 1-2 on Scott. And a Virginia Commonwealth. Rolled toward third base. Gobbled up there by Peralta. He'll step on the bag for the force. And the Tigers lead 2 more. hit walk-off homer beat Boston 4-3 for the Tigers' first season win.
That'd be Gates Brown.
Well, when you say pinch hit, of course, the Gator.
The Gator!
Gates Brown.
I have heard some say he is one of the best pinch hitters of all time.
Well, it's hard to argue. I mean, he had 107 of them in his career. 16 pinch hit homers. Woo. How hard is that to do?
It's hard to come off that bench and swing, but boy, he could hit. He didn't miss his fastballs, and that's the same way he taught when he was a hitting instructor. Don't miss your fastballs.
Well, the Tigers are down 5-0 as we go to the 5th inning. Gator coached you, didn't he?
He did.
Yeah.
He was the hitting coach on that '84 club.
That's right. Verlander missing. 1-0 on Asdrubal Cabrera.
Wasn't a whole lot of technique back then. No tee work, no soft toss.
No video.
None of that. No video sessions.
So what did you do?
Sit and turn. That's what he used to tell you.
Sit and turn, son.
Sit and turn, son. Sit and turn, son. Which meant don't miss your fastball when you get it. The game has really evolved the last 25 years.
That's back up the middle. Tough play. Santiago shoots him down. Now, when he said sit and turn, what do you mean by sit?
Well, that means kind of sit there, and if you get the fastball, if you're a right-handed hitter, you hit it to left field. If you are a left-handed hitter, then you were hitting it to right field. He made Lou Whitaker a real good hitter.
Really?
Sit and turn. Sit and turn.
One gone, and here's Michael Brantley.
Can you imagine telling a young kid nowadays
no.
in the big leagues, sit and turn? What do you mean sit and turn? Where's the video? Where's the soft toss and the tee work?
So even in the 80s, and when you were playing in the minor leagues and the big leagues, there wasn't a whole lot of tee work?
No,
really?
no, there really wasn't. There's more batting practice. Most of the hitting coaches in those days, I mean, they placed a huge emphasis on batting practice.
Brantley is out in the pop-up.
Comcast is telling us that Verlander has touched 99 today and has gone as low as 76.
So with 2 outs here is Shin-Soo Choo. And he skies one of the air. Right side of the infield, foul ground. It's going to be an easy inning for Verlander. 1, 2, 3, they go. We head to the bottom of the 5th. Tigers need to get the bats going. Most trusted name in eye care. And by your neighborhood Spartan store. For locations, visit turntospartan.com. Back here at the ballpark, Tigers trying to get going offensively here. They're down 5-0. They gave up the 5 spot in the first. And Detroit has managed only 2 hits against Jake Westbrook. Leadoff man Austin Jackson starting things off here. Jackson, then Don Kelly and Maglio Ordonez. Jackson 0 for 1 with the walk and a steal. And he taps that one foul. I was chatting with Austin before the game today, talking about his basketball prospects coming out of high school. He signed a letter of intent, as some of you may know, with Georgia Tech to play basketball. And there was a time where he was considering playing both basketball and professional baseball. But the thought of it was a little bit too daunting. Westbrook's going to have to hurry. He'll have no play. He ate it.
Wise play by Westbrook. It's a veteran play by Westbrook. And a much-needed base hit by Jackson. It's a bullet right back up the middle, but if you're Westbrook and you throw as many ground balls as he does, you have to be ready to field your position. And once this ball trickled off of his glove to the third base side of the rubber, once he gathered it, he realized that Jackson was going to be safe, so he thought better of throwing it. It's a wise decision. Because he was off balance. He might have thrown that ball down the right field line.
That had disaster written all over it had he thrown that ball.
Well, Jackson has already stolen 1 base in this game. And that was back in the first. Because he dared attempt another one. And he stole that base rather easily.
He sure did. And that was his 2nd of the season.
Westbrook had forgotten all about him because most teams, once they're down by 5 runs in the first inning, the running game's kind of shut down for most teams.
The 1-0.
But against a guy like Westbrook, if you just stay at first base, if you're Jackson, in this situation, because he throws so many ground balls, you're prone to hitting some double plays. Therefore, some managers will take the luxury of starting the base runner.
Two-0 count on Don Kelly, who singled in his last at bat. Now make it a 3-0 count. Kelly was an all-star in the International League last year. He hit .331. And this is the 2nd season in his career in which he has broken spring camp on a big league roster. The other time was '07 as a member of the Pittsburgh Pirates. Don, of course, began his career in the Tigers organization and bounced around a bit. He's back here in Detroit. Ooh, strike call. Kelly was about ready to discard the bat.
That's the last pitch that you're looking for from a guy like Westbrook, who primarily works at the bottom of the strike zone. You're not looking for the firm 4-seam fastball up around the belt buckle. You're not looking for that.
3-2. Slice toward left field. That ball is down, a base hit. Jackson motoring to third. He is in there easily, and Kelly has his 2nd hit.
That's good base running there by Austin Jackson. And it's also a good defensive play by Austin Kearns. That ball sliced down the left field line, and because of the momentum of Kearns was running toward that left field line, Jackson knew he could get to third base, and Kearns also knew he wasn't going to throw Jackson out. So what does he do? He comes up, fires the ball back to second base to keep the double play in order. Good play. Good base running, good outfield play.
Jackson sure is fun to watch first to third.
He's got some real good baseball instincts.
Here's Ordonez. Maglio hammers one in the air. Into right field. Here comes Chu again with that throwing arm. And Jackson not going anywhere. Chu fires a one-hopper to the plate. 1 out.
Well, Chu had 11 assists from that right field position last year. He also played some left field last year, too. Eric Wedge, who was a manager at the time, would take the luxury of putting Chu in whichever field he felt like was the biggest, whether it be left field or right field. So he kind of went back and forth last year for the Tribe.
Here's Cabrera on base 2 more times today, walking a single. Cabrera had a rip there. 0-1. .476 the average for Cabrera. 2 hits in this series. He's got Jackson at third. He's got Kelly at first. Jammed him that time. 0-2.
That wasn't a good pitch to swing at it for Cabrera. That ball was off the plate inside, and a lot of teams are starting to pitch him inside aggressively. Yeah, but that is one pitch that Cabrera usually lays off of. You can't do anything with that pitch.
.320 career with men in scoring position. Driven to left field. That's down. Base hit. Score the run. Jackson comes in, and the Tigers are on the board now.
I don't know what that pitch was, but at 0-2, not a good pitch by Westbrook, especially to a dangerous hitter like Cabrera. You really do not have to give him a strike in that situation, or he will do exactly as he did. A little breaking ball, a little changeup, whatever it was, it stayed up long enough for Cabrera to hit in the left field.
So Cabrera gets his 8th RBI of the new season, and the Tigers now down by 4, 5-1. See if they can chip away a little bit more with Guillen up there. Only 1 out. Carlos 0 for 2. Westbrook, coming into the start today, really did not have good numbers against the Tigers. Had an ERA of over 6. Was 4-8 against Detroit. And up until this 5th inning, he had kept them off the board. Oh, 0-2. And Kelly advancing to second on that base hit by Miguel Cabrera. Westbrook has had just one 1-2-3 inning in this game, so Tigers have pressured him. Here's the 0-2. Swing and a miss. Down goes Guillen. It's 5 strikeouts now for Jake Westbrook. 2 outs. Hey, by the way, vote for your Tigers McDonald's player of the game using your cell phone. Text Tigers followed by a space from the player's uniform number to 37338. That's FSDET. You can see the final results post game during Tigers Live, and check your text response for special offers from McDonald's. 2 outs for Brandon Inge.
Another nice crowd here this afternoon, partner.
Piling them in. Team off to a good start. Weather good today. 35,000 in here yesterday, which for the day after a home opener is really, really good.
Largest crowd ever for a second day home opener for the Tigers in the 11-year history in this ballpark. So that was a huge day yesterday.
Nice. 1-1. Foul back out of play. Kids Day today at the ballpark. They received the foam paws. All kids 14 and under at the ballpark this afternoon. There's one of them right there.
Sundays are always fun at the ballpark for kids. They can hang out, get on the Ferris wheel, get their face painted.
The 1-2 pitch. Popped up foul back out of play. Well, that's the great thing about this ballpark. You know, it's more than just baseball, and obviously most fans come for the baseball, but if you come with the little kids, there's a whole lot to do here.
Yes, there is. And there's a lot of kids here today.
Swing and a miss. Inge goes down, make it 6 strikeouts for Westbrook. So he gives up the run. Tigers get on the board, and we go to the 6th.
The spring ticket deal, all $15 mezzanine seats are just $10. Call 866-66-TIGER or visit tigers.com. It's a pretty good deal.
Great deal. Justin Verlander back to the hill, coming off a 6-pitch 5th inning. Here in the 6th, he's facing Hafner, Peralta, and Laporta. If you tuned in a little bit late today, most of the action in the first, the 5-run first inning for Cleveland. A frame in which Verlander threw 43 pitches. 1 ball, 1 strike on Hafner. The hook missing outside, 2-1. Tigers now have actually out-hit the Indians 5-4. Cleveland, since that 5th inning, has not been able to do much, or I should say that first inning, has not been able to do much against Verlander. And it's 2-2 on Hafner. Eddie Bonine's thrown just about a ball game down there in the bullpen.
He's been up 3 times.
So he's got to be coming in next. As Verlander is over 90 pitches now, moving toward 100. The 2-2. Rolled toward first, foul. Tigers team pitching, an ERA of 2.54, best in the American League, coming into play this afternoon. And right, I know we're only about a week into the season, but anything stand out for you as a surprise? I mean, you could say the pitching is somewhat a surprise in that it has been so good, but there are some quality arms on the stick.
Well, you can obviously say that you were surprised by the Willis start and then the Bonderman start yesterday because of what they've gone through the last couple of years. But that bullpen, the back end of the bullpen with Perry and Zamaya and also Valverde coming into the season, I thought that was going to be vital for their success this year. And all 3 of those guys have really shown up in a big way early in the season.
Base hit for Travis Hafner. That is his first hit this afternoon. And for the Indians, their 5th. And that's going to be it appears, for Justin Verlander. He looks a little disappointed as Jim Leyland marches out to the mound. Eddie Bonine will be summoned in. And the Tigers will make a pitching change. It is a Wellside Windows pitching change. Verlander done for the day. We'll be back.
Jumped on him in the very first inning with a 5 spot. The first 3 hitters reached base safely before a sacrifice fly by Hafner, and then the big blow. Luis Valbuena, with the bases loaded, got a fastball down and in and didn't miss it for the grand slam. But against a guy like Verlander, you've got to get him early, and we've made that point because once he settles in nicely and had a few strikeouts in this game, but the damage was already done.
Tigers able to come back and get a run for Verlander. 5-1 is our score. The final numbers, well, I guess they're not final yet. The man on first still his responsibility, but the numbers to this point look like this. And Eddie Bonine will take over now as he comes in on relief. And the numbers on Eddie, just his second appearance. Johnny Peralta will face him. Ball 1 to Peralta.
Bonine throws lots of strikes, usually when he comes into a game, not overpowering with the fastball, anywhere from 88 to 91. He's got a breaking ball, he's got a changeup, and occasionally he will throw you a knuckleball. As a matter of fact, Jim has encouraged Bonine into throwing the knuckleball a little bit more often.
He was a former Rule 5 selection that the Tigers picked up from the San Diego Padres back in December of 2005. Roll toward third base, foul.
You know, Eddie Bonine's mom passed away last year during the course of the regular season. She had inoperable cancer, and one of the coolest stories last year for me, man, was Bonine and his mom driving from Arizona to Florida for spring training, spending 3 days together. They knew what her situation was, and I'd have to imagine, Mario, that was just a special time for both of them. 3 days in the car, just talking and having a good time together.
Driven high in the air, deep into left field, way back. That ball is going to find the seats. It is gone. Johnny Peralta with a homer. And that adds to the Cleveland lead now 7-1. Well, it was a great story, and I also think back, Rod, to Seattle when his mom was able to come watch him pitch in Seattle early in the year, and everybody knew what the score was at that point with Eddie and his mom, and just part of life, I suppose.
Yes, it is.
Meanwhile, Peralta put a charge into that thing. One of those runs charged to Verlander, the other goes to Bonine. Peralta's first of the year. 400 feet, they tell us, on that home run.
Oh, he crushed it.
Cleared the bullpen, didn't he?
He crushed it.
That's into left field, a base hit.
Indians got their hitting shoes on today.
3 straight hits here in the 6th.
The second baseman, Luis Valbuena.
And here's Valbuena, who's had a big day, a grand slam and a single. It's time for the Coors Light Cold Hard Blast. And there you go, Valbuena back in the first inning. The slam that made it 5-0. Talking just before that grand slam was hit about how Valbuena had a little bit of power in just 103 games last year. He did hit 10 home runs. Only 24 years old.
Valbuena was in the Gutierrez deal.
Or was that Perez? No, that was Gutierrez. You're right.
Gutierrez deal.
One of them was Eduardo Perez. I get them mixed up. We can look it up.
Eduardo Perez, that was Chu was in
you're right.
Eduardo Perez deal, I believe.
Right, so that had to be Gutierrez. Valbuena for Franklin Gutierrez.
Yeah,
correct.
Well, Gutierrez is going to win a Gold Glove this year.
I think you're right.
He's going to win a Gold Glove.
I think he's somewhat buried out there in Seattle in terms of press and people noticing him. That ball's hit well left center field, but Austin Jackson has a ton of room.
Gutierrez could not play center field in Cleveland because of Sizemore, so he played right field, but he is a tremendous defender. He made a couple of plays yesterday that were just unbelievable. I know Torrey Hunter and Ichiro have pretty much had a stranglehold on 2 of the 3 Gold Gloves given out to the American League, but Gutierrez has a golden opportunity of getting one this year. Who got that 3rd one last year? Adam Jones got it.
Adam Jones, correct.
Adam Jones got it.
Another good looking young player. Here's Austin Kearns.
But for the last 8 years, it's been Torrey and it's been Ichiro.
And with good reason. Those two guys are pretty good. I heard one of the replays of one of the catches Gutierrez made, the great Dave Niehaus, a Hall of Fame announcer in Seattle, and he absolutely went nuts. He just went nuts.
He will do that. It was a spectacular catch.
2-0 on Austin Kearns. Driven down the right field line. Trouble. It'll go to the corner. Fair ball. It'll rattle off the wall over there. Laporta coming to third. They're going to stop in there. That's a double for Austin Kearns.
Well, when Bonin came into the game, I told you that he throws lots of strikes and he's not overpowering. Therefore, you're going to get hit every now and then. So it's up to him to make sure he gets ahead with the first pitch fastball and then expands the strike zone. That fastball right there to Kearns is right over the heart of the plate, and he's able to hit that ball sharply down the right field line. Guys that throw lots of strikes that don't overpower, they're going to give up quite a few hits. You're hoping the majority of the time that the ball's hit at one of your defenders.
So the infield now coming in with runners at second and third already. A 6-run spread here in the 6th inning. And the number 9 hitter Lou Marson is up there. He lines one, caught by the second baseman Sizemore. 2 gone. Top of the order now is Asdrubal Cabrera. Well, has anything surprised you around the American League? I'm kind of surprised a little bit by Minnesota off to a 5-1 start. They started out on the West Coast in Anaheim.
Yep.
Took 3 out of 4 there.
They're winning again today as well in Chicago. They haven't even gone home yet to their sparkling new Target Field. I heard it is spectacular.
Hinge runs out of room on that one.
I got one for you, though. CC Sabathia was throwing a no-hitter yesterday, and he took the no-hitter into the 8th inning. He finally gave up a hit on the 110th pitch. And Joe Girardi said even if he would have gotten through the 8th inning, he was not going to go back out there for the 9th.
Boy, that opens up a box of snakes, doesn't it, when you make a statement like that?
I think Girardi was glad he gave that hit up.
There's no question.
I mean, second start of the year, I mean, it's kind of tough to have your guy go out and go 125, 130 pitches, but it is a no-hitter.
Well, you do have to think about his other 32, 33, 34 starts he's going to make.
But he is CC, and he's standing about 6'7", 290. He's a horse.
He is a horse. Those are the tough decisions.
Tough decision. I was watching that game, and you could just see how Girardi was agonizing over the decision that he may have had to make had he not given up that base hit in the 8th.
Here's the 1-1 to Cabrera. It's a strike, 1-2.
But it looks like the Central is going to be a good division. The White Sox, the Tigers, also Minnesota Twins, all three right at the top as far as pitching in the American League. I think our division is better than most people give it credit for.
1-2. In the air to right. On the back pedal, Ordonez hauls it in, but 2 more for the Indians on one swing of the bat by Johnny Peralta.
Light freeze cam. We're going to take you back to the third inning with 2 outs. A sharp single to right field by Cabrera. Don Kelly, running from second base, was given the green light to come home. And you could see that Marsden did a very nice job of blocking the plate, preventing Kelly from scoring. A good play all the way around by the Cleveland Indians. Of course, Coors Light freeze cam always brought to you by your Frost Brewed Coors Lights.
So the mountain has become a little bit taller now for the Tigers. They're down 7-1 as we head to the bottom of the 6th inning. Jake Westbrook goes back to work, and he faces Ramon Santiago, Gerald Laird, and Scott Sizemore. 7, 8, 9 in Jim Leland's lineup. 2 balls, no strikes on Santiago, who was hit by a pitch back in the 4th. Verlander went 97 pitches this afternoon before giving way to Bonine. 2-1. And Justin gave up 5 hits, 6 earned runs. Line through, it's a base hit out of the reach of Peralta.
That's why guys like Santiago has good numbers against a guy like Westbrook. They don't overswing. And if you don't overswing against a guy that has that real good sinker ball, you can wait until the last possible second, as Santiago does here, and gets him a sharp single the opposite way. He waits and almost takes that ball out of the catcher's glove. Picture perfect swing by Santiago. It also helps if you bunt, as Santiago bunts from time to time. Third baseman Peralta was drawn in.
Well, Gerald Laird still in search of that first hit this year. He was hit by a pitch in the 4th.
The one thing that Laird must do is he must stay with what he has started to do in spring training with the new batting stance, just kind of relaxing the bat on the shoulders and not over swinging. I've noticed the last few at-bats he's been over swinging, trying to get that first base hit.
It's kind of human nature, isn't it?
Absolutely. You want to get the first one out of the way, but he has to understand that, because he's a veteran player, that sometimes when you're not going good, the best thing for you to do is to slow the game down, not to panic, which speeds the game up.
Gerald Laird,
he carved him up. Yeah, he carved him up real nice there. After a breaking ball, he dropped down to a sidearm angle and gave him a nice little 2-seamer.
7 strikeouts for Westbrook. 7.
Did not look like he was going to have this type of game with the start that he got off to today. It looked like he was going to be shaky.
Yeah, he walked 2 in that first inning. Sizemore, 0 for 2, strikeout. Hit into a force, ending the 4th inning.
And back to Laird for just a moment. He is going to be vital to the team's success this year. I know they have the youngster Alex Avila waiting in the wings, but it's going to be very important for Laird from an offensive standpoint to really start to get it going, because that will make him feel better about what he's doing behind the plate too.
There's a base hit to right off the end of the bat of Sizemore. His second big league hit. That's a good point. I mean, there are very few guys, Ron, I think, that can separate offense from defense. I mean, we talk about human nature. That's part of human nature as well.
He's bound to go back there and start to think about a few of the at-bats that he has.
Well, you've got 2 men on here with 1 man out. Austin Jackson comes cruising in. He's been on base twice today, singled, walked, stole a base, and scored a run. Jackson batting .280 on the young season. I was talking earlier about the fact that I chatted with Austin before the game. He told me a funny story about his recruiting process. He was ready to sign with Illinois and play basketball in the Big Ten. They brought him into Illinois. They had the student section there chanting his name. I mean, they rolled out the red carpet. That's on the ground with a shortstop deep in the hole. No play. Everybody is safe.
It should be a base hit.
And if it is, it'll be the second of the game for Jackson. He said, the reason I didn't go to Illinois, after they showed me the basketball arena, they showed me the baseball field because I wanted to play both sports. He said, I saw snow on the field, and I said, I'm good. No thanks. And he ended up signing with Georgia Tech, but never playing there. He obviously took the professional baseball route. And the Tigers are glad to have him. Melcher, meanwhile, coming out. Pitching coach for Cleveland.
first-year pitching coach for Cleveland under the new manager, Manny Acta. I think Cleveland did a pretty nice job with the way that they constructed their coaching staff. They have some guys that are on the staff formerly in the organization, and then Manny Acta was able to bring in some of his own people.
Aaron Laffey warming up in their bullpen. Well, I think Belcher's a terrific choice. He had been in the organization as a special assistant, and so he knew the organization, but he also had a ton of big league experience.
Knew some of the younger players that would be coming up, because I'm sure part of his duties as a special assistant to the general manager was to go down and watch the minor league players. That's usually what they do.
He was pitching in Anaheim a few years back when I was doing Angels games, and the one thing I took from Tim Belcher watching him pitch on a daily basis, his competitiveness. And I'm sure he'll instill that in his staff here. Don Kelly, the batter.
He was a good pitcher, but what I remember of him was him sweating. He used to sweat a ton. His hats would be soaking wet after the second inning.
I don't remember that.
I do remember that about Tim Belcher.
0-1 on Kelly. Skies this one in the air to shallow left center field. Kearns is under it. Jackson is tagging, or not Jackson, but Santiago. And the throw will come in on a line to home plate. 2 gone.
Tigers have had some opportunities today with a runner on third, less than 2 outs, and on a couple of occasions they have not been successful, which means they have not been able to chip into that 6-run spread as we speak.
Well, you've got Maglio coming up, and you've got Cabrera backing him up, but it's going to take a 2-out hit to keep this thing going. One mighty swing could all of a sudden make this a very interesting ball game.
Well, this much I do know, that Brantley in center field is playing real shallow. And if you look at Kearns in left field, he is also playing really shallow himself, which means that Maglio has a chance of hitting something over their heads, and then everybody would run forever.
Ordonez is 0 for 2 with a walk. Checked it. Strike called by home plate umpire Brian Gorman. Maggs has hit 7 slams in his career. .338 average as well. Right back up the middle into center. It's off the bag. This will get 2 runs in. Jackson going to third, and Maglio does it again with a sharp single to center field. 2 more RBIs for Maglio Ordonez.
Maglio has the perfect approach against a sinker baller. You don't try to pull him. You simply try to hit the ball right back up the middle. You can see that ball's at the bottom of the strike zone. Maglio does not get greedy. Hits a seed right past Westbrook. The ball hit the bag and slowed it down, which made it easier for Sizemore to score.
It's going to be it for Jake Westbrook. The Tigers knock him out of this game with a 2-run 6th and maybe more. And for Maglio, RBIs 5 and 6 on the year, and now Maggs with a 6-game hit streak. And with Cabrera due up, Manny Acta wants Westbrook out of the game, and he'll go to the bullpen. third base upper suite level. New menu items at the ballpark as well. Don't forget about the birthday packages for just $7. Birthday packages can be added to any regular season tickets. And Tiger Baseball, it's a great value here in the Motor City. So some of the new stuff that you can enjoy here at the ballpark this year. Now Cabrera with runners at first and third and 2 outs. 1 ball and no strikes. Cabrera on base 3 times, 2 singles, an RBI, and a walk. Ball outside, 2-0. Jackson down at third base. Maglio has just singled in 2. He's at first base. Missed it again, 3-0.
Even in this situation, with a 4-run lead, runners on first and third, pitchers still do not want to go after Cabrera.
It speaks volumes about the damage he can do.
But if there was ever a time to go after him, it would be in this situation.
Ooh, he threaded the outside corner. 3-1. Guillen is on deck. Crowd getting into it now. You can sense the Tigers getting closer and closer, down by 4. Three and 2. He's had 8 at-bats against Jensen Lewis. He's hit 2 home runs.
I'd be a little scared too, I guess.
I would too. That's in the back of my mind. This guy's taken me deep twice already.
I've already watched him trot around the bases.
Well, let's see what he comes back with here on 3-2. Ball 4.
That's close. That's why he's so good. To take that pitch in that situation, 2 inches off the plate outside, and get the call.
It's the 4th walk for Cleveland pitching in this game. Also a couple of hit batters that Westbrook had as well.
Tigers have gotten quite a few free passes in this game. I think they had maybe, 9 last game?
They did, 9.
Fox pitch tracks are telling us that that ball was 2 inches off the outside plate.
There's Carlos Guillen with the bases loaded. Ooh, and a big swing going for the downs there. 0-1. Tigers about hit the Indians 9-8. In the air. To the grass goes the shortstop, Cabrera, and that is that for the Tigers. But they get 2 more. Crawl back into the game as we go to the 7th. It's 7-3. Justin Verlander in the first inning. Miguel Cabrera, RBI single in the 5th inning. And Maglio Ordonez, 2-run single in the 6th inning. There you have it. Totals up to a 7-3 lead for Cleveland as we go to the 7th. Eddie Bonine back to the hill. He replaced Verlander in the 6th. He has Brantley, Chu, and Hafner to deal with. Cleveland trying to avoid the sweep as the Tigers won the first 2 games in the series. Royals coming to town next for a 3-game set. Bonine goes to work. Strike 1 on Michael Brantley, who's 1 for 3. Westbrook threw 105 pitches before departing. And he's charged with 3 runs. So this is his game right now. If the bullpen can hold it for them. It's a much better start than his first one. Here's the 1-1. Brantley hammers it to short on a couple of hops. Santiago throws him out. So Brantley now 1 for 4. 1 gone. Shin-Soo Choo coming up. Chu is hitless in 2 at bats. He walked and scored in the first. Hits this one in the air to left pretty good. Kelly backing up to the wall. It's going to carry out. Chu, who was battling an 0 for 13 slump, has just homered the other way.
It's a nice job. It's a good at bat by Chu. When you're struggling, as he was struggling, not necessarily seeing the baseball, you have to go back to square one. You have to go back to the drawing board, which means letting the ball travel and hitting it the other way, and that's exactly what he did. Looked like it was a knuckleball that was floating on the outside part of the plate, and Kelly ran out of room.
3rd home run this afternoon for the Indians. Buena, Peralta, and now Chu. Back up to a 5-run lead, 8-3. Hafner straightens up. 1 ball and 1 strike. Single, walk, and an RBI for Travis Hafner. He has 4 hits, 3 RBIs in the series. Checks a swing and rolls it foul. One and 2. Hafner hits a ground ball to third. Inge scrambles from his knees and throws him out. We've seen him make that play a couple of times in this series.
Quick like a cat. Goes down, gets up. Not a great throw across the diamond, but it helps to have that 6-foot 5-inch frame over there that Cabrera has that can stretch out and prevent you from making some errors. Speaking of quick like a cat.
The Paws is a cat, but I don't know if I'd go with quick.
Have you seen Paws doing that electric shuffle the last couple days?
That's true. Paws does have some ability. I will give him that. Fans love him. Balled inside. Well, 26,000 plus for this one here today. 26,081 is the attendance. Here's the 1-1. 1 ball, 2 strikes on Johnny Peralta. Bonine missing inside, 2-2. Peralta's in his 8th season now with Cleveland, so he's been The Indians, well, shortstop, third baseman for quite a while now. Final year of his deal. In fact, the Indians have a club option on his contract next year. Fouled back out of play. That option year, boy, that's always a big one for players who want to prove that they should have it picked up. Peralta is off to a slow start despite the 2-run homer in the 6th inning in this game. And he rolls this one to third. More of a routine play for Brandon Inge. Throws it up the line, but Cabby makes the tag to retire the side. They get another run on the Chu homer. Inge, Santiago, Laird coming up.
Live here from manager Jim Leaton and the players. Plus, we'll break down the game and show you all the highlights. Tigers Live. And from here at the ballpark immediately after the game here on Fox Sports Detroit Plus.
April in the D. Motor City hopping this April. Tigers off to a nice start despite trailing in this one here today. Let's check out the upcoming schedule for the Tigers. The Royals coming to town beginning tomorrow, 3-game set, and a travel day Thursday will land the Tigers on the West Coast.
Tough trip right out of the chute. Seattle, LA, and Texas.
Not too many days off there, partner, that I'm seeing this month.
Real busy.
Meanwhile, with the Royals coming in tomorrow, it'll be a good pitching matchup. These two guys both pitched well in Kansas City.
Well, Hoche was tremendous. And, of course, Scherzer in his debut with the Tigers was pretty good himself.
There you have it tomorrow. Hochevar and Scherzer. Willis and Porcello will pitch the final 2 games in that series for Detroit. Royals coming to town after the Tigers took 2 out of 3 from KC. Dancing to the aisles here today on a great day for baseball. There you go. There's Paul.
Yeah.
Paul's, I think, has some new shoes this year. I can't confirm that, but they just look shiny and new. There they are. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, they look new. It's a new year.
Well, let's see. The Tigers down as we go to the 7th inning. 8-3 is our score. Brandon Inge will lead it off. Inge, Santiago, and Laird facing Jensen Lewis. Brandon 0 for 3, fanned back in the 5th inning. 1 ball, 1 strike. On the ground to the shortstop. Cabrera to Laporta. Inge is out. Brandon 0 for 4 today. One out for Santiago. Jensen Lewis pitched in 47 games last year, had an ERA of about 4.5. Santiago 1 for 2. He's also been hit by a pitch in this game. Pulled to right field, base hit. Santiago with his second hit.
He really has done a nice job since coming back to the Tigers from the Seattle Mariners. They traded him out west a few years back when they brought over Carlos Guillen, but Santiago, since coming back, has just done a very nice job. Solid defender and gives you just enough offense.
How much of that do you think is knowing his role and accepting his role?
I think that's a huge part of it, because when you are a young player in the big leagues, everybody wants to start. Everybody thinks they should start. But when you finally realize you're not going to be a starter, you start to work on different positions and you become comfortable with that, I think you become a better player. And I think he knows his role on this club. He knows the Tigers like him.
Well, when he first got to Detroit, along with Omar Infante, they were the middle infield. It's fouled back out of play by Laird, 0-2.
Usually role players, when you go to spring training, you have to earn that position every single year. But Santiago signed a 2-year deal last year, so he knew he was going to be on the Tigers team. So that way he's allowed to get himself in playing shape and ready for the game. Or the season, I should say.
Laird again finds himself behind in the count. 1 ball, 2 strikes.
He can play short. He can play second. He can spell you at third. And I'm sure the speed, if they needed him to do so, he could probably play the outfield.
Adam Everett seated in the middle there. The other half of the Tigers tandem at short. The 1-2. Popped him up. Foul ground, Laporta. Two gone. We'll bring up Scott Sizemore, who signaled and scored in a 2-run Tigers 6th. His second big league hit. Both of his major league hits are singles. Strike 1. 10 Detroit hits in this game. They've out-hit the Indians 10-9, but trail 8-3. Lewis with the 0-1 pitch. Missed it inside. Tigers, as we mentioned, have the Royals coming in. The Indians are going back home to face Texas. That'll be their home opener at Progressive Field. To left field. Kearns on the run. This one is over his head. One hop off the wall. It's going to get a run in. Santiago scores. Scott Sizemore has his first extra base hit.
I brought up the fact last half inning at how shallow Kearns was playing when Maglio was up in the batter's box, and said that Maglio could burn him by hitting something over his head. But an inning later, it's Sizemore that gets something at the bottom of the strike zone and hits a laser over the head of Kearns. And this ball almost bounced into the bullpen, and had it bounced into the bullpen, of course, the run would not have scored. Santiago would have had to stay at third.
So it's a 2-hit day for Sizemore, his second big league RBI. Here's Austin Jackson. By the way, the Tigers now have 11 hits. That is their first extra base hit. First 10 were all singles.
Good to see Austin Jackson come back and get a couple of hits today after going 0 for 5 in that ball game yesterday afternoon.
Yeah, Austin today with a couple of singles. He has a walk and a steal as well.
Austin needs to understand, though, with that leg kick that he has, it's a timing thing for him, but he must get that front foot up and down before he starts his swing if he's going to generate any bat speed whatsoever. When you have movement as far as your lower half is concerned, you got to get that foot down. You can see he picks it up, but he almost gets it down too late there, therefore late on the fastball. Take a look at the foot. It's going to go up, but it has to get down. You can see the foot was still on its way down, and he was starting his momentum with his swing. Therefore, you don't get much bat speed when that front foot's in the air still. It's got to be down.
Now the 1-2. 2 balls, 2 strikes.
Lloyd McClendon noticed that about Austin Jackson before he even saw him in spring training. He watched some video on him when Jackson was a New York Yankee. And he asked him, he says, why don't you use the leg kick anymore? And he said, well, the Yankees wanted me to spread out. They said I was striking out too much. They wanted me to put the ball in play a little bit more efficiently. Didn't really help his strikeouts, but it took his power away.
Now the 2-2. And it's high, 3 balls and 2 strikes.
So Lloyd promptly told him, if it worked for you and you had a good power year using the leg kick, why not go back to the leg kick? And Austin said that was all he needed to hear.
Huh. He was good with that, wasn't he?
Yeah, he worked with Reggie Jackson quite a bit in that Yankees organization. They used to have him further spread out where he wasn't striding, just trying to put the ball in play.
And there's ball 4, so he's on base again for the 4th time today.
And of course, when you have somebody that's kind of taking you under their wing like Reggie Jackson did with him in New York, you're going to listen.
Well, yeah, I don't think you really have any choice but to do so. Mr. October. Well, good signs today. I mean, he's been on base 4 times. He has a couple of walks, a couple of hits.
He's done some nice things already in the Tigers uniform.
Do you think strikeouts will still be part of the
I think he's going to strike out. I think strikeouts are going to be somewhat of an issue for him, but he did a nice job in this particular at-bat of laying off the high fastball. Kansas City threw him quite a few balls up in the strike zone, and when he does strike out, it's usually on that ball that's up around the belt buckle or higher, which is a tough pitch for most big league hitters to lay off because it looks so good.
So the Indians are going to the pen here. The Tigers are going to make a move of their own with Kelly due up. Looks like Ryan Rayburn has picked up a bat. He's going to come on and pinch hit. And in the meantime, there's some things about this 2010 Tigers schedule we're talking about, how you've got the big West Coast trip coming up. But they won't go out to the West Coast beyond May 26th, which I guess is a good thing. Once you get late in the season, you'd like to stay closer to home, keep the flights short.
Tigers do have good travel. You know, within their division, obviously, they don't travel that far. Then you go to the East Coast, New York, and some of those cities. That flight's not that long.
Only 2 West Coast trips for Detroit. And while on the surface, it may not seem like a big deal, you know, once you get into the season and you start traveling to the West Coast, the 3 hours difference, I think, affects guys significantly, especially later in the season.
Oh, absolutely.
Well, as the Indians go to the pen here, it's an 8-4 game, so the Tigers kicking up their heels a little bit here in the 7th. In fact, they've done all their scoring in the last 3 innings. Aaron Laffey, the left-hander, will come on.
The 3rd game now that Laffey has been in. He's not been scored upon. He has logged 3 in the 3rd inning. 1 walk, no strikeouts.
Rayburn has just been introduced as the pinch hitter for Don Kelly. 11 Tigers hits today. There's Rayburn. He'll get an opportunity to pinch hit. RBI double by Sizemore here in the 7th has made it a 4-run game, and now the Tigers trying to draw a little bit closer. There's a ball outside, 1-0 on Rayburn. Tigers have 2 men on. Sizemore and Jackson. Laffey's 1-0. Rayburn, the super sub for the Tigers, the ability to play a lot of different positions. I guess Kelly would qualify as well with his ability to do the same. Rayburn had himself best year of his career last year. Ball outside, 2-1. Ryan has kind of evolved from this guy that was playing some second base in the minor leagues and in the fall league to a guy that could play several other infield positions and the outfield. And swing a bat that does possess some power.
And at the end of the day, that's why he gets the opportunities that he does get, is because he can swing that stick. There are a lot of guys that can play different positions, but everybody can't hit up here.
$26,000 plus in attendance today, and there's a walk. Boy, the Indian staff has walked a ton in this series. There's 2 more this inning. And with a slow walk out to the mound, Manny Acta will not leave Laffey in here to face Ordonez and potentially Cabrera. So the lefty does not do his job. Really claw back into this one, down by 4. 6 walks by Indians pitching today. And we knew there was a lot. 18 in the series.
Another predictable fastball count for Maglio here. And he's gotten a lot of fastballs to hit.
And that's hammered foul down the right field line, 1-1. Tigers have him loaded now with Sizemore, with Jackson, and with Rayburn. Here's the 1-1. 2 balls and 1 strike.
Maglia just has some really nice balance in the batter's box right now. You can see the knees ever slightly so bent. He's on the balls of his feet. Just got some really good balance going right now. Really strong from the belt buckle down. Ooh, nice pitch. He froze him.
2-2.
And really that's the key to hitting. Balance. He froze Maglia with that breaking ball.
Joe Smith trying to pitch out of this inning. The 2-2 in the air. Center field. Brantley is going to run it down. Wrong part of the ballpark. Tigers will leave him loaded, but they get a run back. You're watching Tigers baseball on Fox Sports Detroit, presented by Bell Tire. Tigers down 8-4 as we go to the top of the 8th inning here at Comerica Park. Some work to do for Jim Leyland's crew. Well, we told you some of the good aspects of the Tigers' schedule this year. Some of the aspects that won't be very easy. Got an 11-day road trip coming up to the American League West this month. We talked about that. 2-day stops in both Oakland and Seattle. Those 2-day stops on the West Coast, those can be killers sometimes. And really anywhere. I think players love to spend maybe 3 days in the city.
Oh, for sure.
And you're packing and unpacking. Ryan Rayburn plays left field now. He stays in the game. Eddie Bonine is still out there as we go to the 8th. There's Rayburn.
Yankees come to Comerica Park during the middle of the week, but that will still be a sellout, as it always is when the Yankees come to town.
Gonna have to drown out their fans this year. It's they're often really loud when they travel. Matt Laporta is leading it off here in the 8th. The 1-2. Checked it and rolled it toward first. Easy play for Cabrera.
The second baseman, Luis Valbuena.
One away, and here is Luis Valbuena. Indians scored 5 in the first inning today. They have not trailed at any point in this game. Valbuena's grand slam capped a 5-run first inning. First home run of the year. Pulled on the ground to first. Another play for Cabrera.
He has been picking and grinning over at first base all season. He is getting awfully good over there.
Well, Leyland keeps talking about the fact that that last level will be when he's able to scoop balls out of the dirt. And I think we've seen on several occasions this year that he's probably just about there.
Yep, he's done it. There's been some throws that have been in the dirt. He's been able to pick them all.
Here's Austin Kearns. Ball one.
And he also moves better than most people would think for a guy that has that kind of size. He's a third baseman by trade, so his feet are accustomed to moving because he's already played on the other side of the diamond.
Well, when the Tigers considered moving him to first base, and you might remember he played third, you know, he had some of the physical attributes that would lead you to believe he could be a good first baseman. Had good hands, good size, obviously, good throwing arm, which is a
really good throwing arm. I think in the infield, the first baseman does not get enough credit for the balls you have to pick out of the dirt. When you've got size, you can jump up and help your left side of the infield prevent them from throwing on the ball over your head. And on bunt plays, you can throw that ball down to second base.
Miguel's got it all.
He's a star.
Not to mention that potent bat. 3-1 on Austin Kearns.
Got a few Benjamins in his pocket, too.
Yes, he does.
Huh? You think?
More than a few. Had a few other presidents to go with it. Census form. Do it today, please. Well, we told you that there's another good gathering here this afternoon. 26,081 is the attendance here today. It's been a great 3 days of baseball here at the ballpark. How about this? The series attendance better than 106,000 for the weekend. Of course, opening day, the big party.
And a party it was. But really, the entire weekend has been a party.
I would agree with that. See if the Tigers have a comeback in them today. We have a couple of changes in the meantime for the Indians. Andy Marte is the new first baseman. And the new pitcher is on as well. It's the left-hander, Rafael Perez.
And Rafael Perez had a bad year last year. I mean, he had a really bad year, and they really couldn't figure out why, because the fastball was still 92, 93, and he's got an outstanding slider from the left side. But he struggled.
27 years old out of Santo Domingo.
He was 4-3 last year with an earned run average over 7. In 48 innings pitched for the Tribe, he gave up 66 hits.
Ouch.
The opponents hit 385 against him last year. But he really wasn't the only one in their bullpen that struggled.
Cabrera hammers one foul, and it's 0-2. Miguel to be followed by Carlos Guillen. And then Brandon Inge.
A lot of times after you get ahead of Cabrera, no balls and 2 strikes, you're better off throwing the ball right over the heart of the plate to try to get him out. Because once you start picking and throwing balls in the dirt and you work the count back to 2-2, he sees more pitches and he gets more comfortable.
Slap to center field, base hit. It's another 0-2 hit for Cabrera.
He is lethal, really. When he's going good, Mario, and there's really only a few of these guys around. I mean, a lot of guys you can get out in the strike zone. But Cabrera, when going good, you cannot throw a strike by him. He's got that kind of plate discipline. He's got that kind of eye. He's got that kind of hand-eye coordination to go with a tremendous amount of God-given ability.
Well, he's been on base all 5 times today. 3 hits, 2 walks, and here is Guillen.
Now, Guillen is the one they've got to get going. It's early still, but they've got to get him going.
Carlos hitless today. 0 for his last 14. Tigers still within striking distance.
Because we've already watched a couple of situations in this game where Westbrook and also Lewis appeared to be pitching around Cabrera.
Ground ball, base hit left field. Here come the Tigers now, back-to-back hits.
It's a big base hit for Carlos. What that snap, like an 0 for 14 or something like that?
Yep. Big indeed. And now the Tigers have 13 hits, 12 of which are singles. It's going to bring up Brandon Inge. Ball 1. Well, you were talking about Perez and his struggles last year, and it really was kind of surprising because the year before that he appeared in 73 games out of their pen and had an ERA in the 3s. Had a dynamite year. Last year, not so much. Swing and a miss. It gets through the catcher, Marson. He can't find it, and both runners will move up.
Didn't get the old tailgate down.
We were talking earlier about how that's the one thing the Indians need to see improvement from, and that's blocking pitches. And Sandy Alomar Jr. was saying that, you know, it's just a matter of knowing what the pitcher will throw and knowing what kind of bounce it will take once it hits the dirt. He said curveballs tend to bounce straight up, and if a pitcher's throwing a changeup, it tends to stay down. The 1-1. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Here's Sandy Alomar Jr.
6-time All-Star. You make the All-Star team for 6 years in the decade of the 90s. You're pretty good.
Yeah, that is impressive.
I mean, usually only 2 catchers on the team.
The last one, by the way, ruled a pass ball, and Marson got down and blocked it that time. Sandy was asked what the key is to blocking pitches, and he said the first thing you've got to think about is getting that glove on the ground, period. That's the first thing he always did, and what made him so good at that.
Got to be quick on your feet.
Two and 2 on Brandon Inge. Base hit, plates 2 perhaps.
The one thing the Tigers don't have on their bench this year is that legitimate power threat. A guy that can come off the bench as Marcus Thames did the last number of years and know that they may have a chance to run into one when you're down by 2 or 3 if you pinch hit a guy.
Marcus made that Yankee team, right, out of spring training.
He sure did.
Here's the 2-2. Back out of play again.
Marcus didn't have a great spring for the Yankees, but he kind of knew that he was going to make the team because they valued what Marcus brought to the dance as far as his ability to hit left-handed pitching. So they pretty much knew going in it didn't really matter what he did. They knew what he could do during the regular season.
And another foul by Inge, who continues to battle Perez. Eight for Cleveland. Leland pacing up and down the dugout. His team fell behind 5-0 early. They have scored all 4 of their runs in the last 3 innings. As the bats have come alive. And a ground ball left side. Base hit into left field. 1 run scores. Guillen goes to third. Inge has an RBI single.
Tigers have been playing some station-to-station baseball today. All but one of their hits have been singles. Great at bat by Inge. He fouled off several tough 2-strike pitches before finally getting something at the top of the strike zone that he was able to hit right past a diving Cabrera.
14 Tigers hits, 13 singles, and now in a 3-run game, here comes the tying run at the plate, Santiago.
Well, we said after they fell behind the Cleveland Indians in the first inning 5-0 that they would have to chip away, and that's exactly what they've done. They've chipped away.
There's a broken bat. Roller to third. They'll get 1 at second. They'll get 2. The double play. Guillen scores to make it 8-6, but the Indians certainly will take that exchange. So with 2 outs, the bases are empty now for Gerald Blaird. Gerald 0 for 3, hit by a pitch. Back in the 4th. One ball to no strikes. Rod, you were talking about the fact that Laird in spring camp obviously changed his approach a little bit. But when you start as slowly as he does and has, do you start to maybe wonder a little bit and start to question it?
Well, you start to go into a little bit of panic mode. I'm not saying that he's panicking, but you want to go back to what you've always done. The change is good for him, and it's allowed him to have a really good spring, working long and hard with Lloyd McClendon. But as you continue to go over, you start to creep back into some of your bad habits because you start to try harder than you should really be trying. And baseball is one of those games when you're struggling, you've got to back off and slow the game down to have success.
Wave and a miss, 1-1. Well, Gerald today has popped up. He has fanned and flied to center.
I thought Bonderman did a magnificent job of that yesterday after pitching really lights out baseball for 3 innings. He struggled in that 4th inning, but when he went back out there for the 5th, knowing that the wind was on the line, he gathered himself and he slowed the game down again, which is what you have to do.
Bondo, who pitched outstanding baseball in his first start.
First win in a couple of years.
1-2 on Laird.
Why they have Laird's bat kind of resting on his shoulder the way that he does right now. He had a tendency last year to kind of glide toward the pitcher before the ball was being thrown, and when you do that, your back shoulder is going to drop and you're going to pop up. He's popped up a couple of times in this game. So by putting the bat on the shoulder, it gives you something else to think about, which will help you stay back, help you hit more line drives.
He banged that one off his foot. Well, again, Laird had that terrific spring camp, and there were signs that maybe he would come out of the chute and put up some good numbers early, but it has been a struggle for him. And sometimes the hardest thing to remember is that it's still very early.
Yeah, just 5 games.
Yeah, just played a handful of games. 2-2. On ball left side, under the glove of Cabrera, and there's your first hit of the season for Gerald Lair. Boy, he needs that.
Now he can relax a little bit more.
Meanwhile, looks like we're going to pitching change. He found the hole left side of the infield.
The Tigers have a couple of left-handed bats on their bench should they choose to go to one for Sizemore. And Johnny Damon did not start in the game. And of course they have Alex Avila, who swings the bat from the left side as well. Is this Perez?
Parking $5 kids and adult meals. For tickets, call 866-66-TIGER or visit tigers.com. 15 Detroit hits. Kind of amazing. 15 hits and 14 singles. Numbers on Perez. This will be his third appearance. Pitched a couple of innings. And he will face Scott Sizemore, who's had a couple of hits today. Single double and an RBI. Strike one on Sizemore. Perez goes 6'4", 230 out of Bradenton, Florida. Hammered in the air to right field. Chu is on the move, and he'll drop it in foul ground. He got there, tried to backhand it. Couldn't hang on.
A little bit of a break there for Sizemore.
And Chu felt the fence coming up on him real quick. 0-2. That'll go foul. That was a no play ruled on that play with Chu. No error given. One and two.
You going to go home and watch any of the Masters today?
You know, I'm not really a big golf fan.
No, not even the Masters.
I'm one of the few guys that really doesn't get into golf. Now you, on the other
I will watch some of it today.
You will
for
watch
sure.
it.
Absolutely. Mickelson's leading. Old lefty.
Okay.
That'd be Phil Mickelson.
2 balls, 2 strikes. Right back up the middle into center. 3-hit day for Sizemore. And a 2-out rally now. The Tigers bring the tying runs, put them on the bases. The go-ahead run coming to the plate. Two runs in already here in the 8th after the double play. They're making some noise indeed.
Most managers do not like to go to their closer in the 8th inning, but Manny Acta was kind of forced into going to his closer, Perez, here in the 8th to try to get a win and for his club. But not only do they pitch the 8th, but they have to go sit down for the half of the 8th inning and then come back out for the 9th to try to get the save.
And that's what most managers will say, why they really don't like doing that. Jackson with a big rip.
When they get their closer up, they want him to get hot and they want him to finish the deal, and that's it.
Big day for Jackson. A couple of singles, a couple of walks, a steal, a run scored. So give the Tigers 16 hits now. Believe it or not, 14 of the 16 Tigers hits have come in the last 4 innings in which they've done all their scoring. Pretty quiet in the first 4. One and 2. Laird got it started here with 2 outs with a base hit. Sizemore has singled as well. And Jackson hits it in the air to center. And that is that for the Tigers. But they get a little bit closer. 2 more runs in. We go to the 9th. Top 9 here at the ballpark. Tigers down by 2. It's been a wild one here this afternoon. Tigers fell behind 5-0. They've mounted a comeback late in this game, but still down by 2 runs as we go to the 9th inning. Eddie Bonine answers the bell yet again. He came on in the 6th inning in place of Justin Verlander. And Bonine here in the 9th will face the number 9 hitter Lou Marson. Then Cabrera, then Brantley. 16 Detroit hits in this game, 9 for Cleveland. Strike 1 is the call on Lou Marson. Marson today is 0 for 3. Here's the 0-1. Rides inside, almost hit him. Bonine has surrendered a couple of home runs in this game. The 2-run shot to the first man he faced, Peralta, in the 6th inning, and then Chu took him deep in the 7th. 2-1. Run the count to 3-1 on Marson. Royals coming in beginning tomorrow. 3-game series before the Tigers hit the road to the West Coast for just about the rest of the month. Here's a 3-1. Fouled straight back, 3-2. Here's your starter tomorrow, Max Scherzer, making his second Tigers start.
No doubt Max will have to make minor adjustments in his start against Kansas City tomorrow. Anytime you're facing a team in back-to-back starts and you've had success against them, there has to be some kind of minor adjustments.
Six innings, 1 hit, and he struck out 3. 91 pitches. Here comes Jim Leland and Kevin Rand, and apparently there's something going on with Eddie Bonine.
Laird is very good at observing their pitchers when on the mound. He noticed something first and foremost, and he went out. And then Bonine sent him back, and then Laird motioned to Jim Leland that something was wrong, and that got Jim and Kevin Rand up.
So Bonine will not be able to continue. Phil Koch is going to come in. And Eddie Bonine will depart. Here comes Koch trotting in for the bullpen in left field.
And in high def on Fox Sports Detroit HD.
Hochevar and Scherzer tomorrow. KC coming to town. Got some new giveaways as well this season at Comerica Park, including a Verlander K-Counter bobblehead.
1935 champions Tigers cap. How about that? Oh, Charlie Brown bobblehead. Now, how did Charlie Brown get a bobblehead for us?
You're asking the wrong person. We got to do some investigating on that. We're down in the totem pole, my man. We'll try and work our way up. Bobblehead totem pole. Also some special promotions this season at Comerica Park.
Parrot head night.
That'll be on August 6th. Tiger floppy hat. All right, Phil Koch ready to go to work here.
Koch must have been up and throwing and almost ready to go before they summoned him out of the bullpen, because usually when there's an injury, the pitcher gets as much time as he needs.
So he will inherit a 3-2 count. And Marson bangs it back out of play. Oh for 3 for Lou Marson. Cabrera then Brantley here in the 9th inning. Fouled away again. Hammered. This one going to the gap in right center. Jackson on the run. Won't get there. Gets to it quickly, though, and holds Marson to a base hit.
He gets awesome jumps in the outfield. As soon as that ball was hit, he was off. At the crack of the bat, had it stayed up a hair longer, Jackson makes that play. That's the kind of range that he has in the outfield and the kind of jumps that he gets.
He's going to bring Leland out of the dugout. Have a little powwow with Koch.
Well, I think he's more than likely going to talk about the bunt situation here. with Cabrera in the batter's box. He wants to make sure that everybody knows exactly what he wants them to do. And this is what Jim will do. He will not send the pitching coach out if it has nothing to do with pitching. If it has something to do with the way that he wants a play constructed, he will go out and deliver the message himself.
So now Cabrera, big spot here because the Tigers have battled back to within 2 runs. They certainly don't want the deficit to balloon as Cabrera digs in.
That was Marson's first hit of the year.
So he's now 1 for 13. There's a bunt. It goes foul. 0-1.
Looked like Cabrera was bunting for a base hit. Although he may have had the sacrifice. Some managers, if you have a player like Cabrera who can bunt for a base hit, at least on that first strike, you give him the opportunity to try to get a base hit. And then after that, it's simply a sacrifice if the bunt is still on, and he'll be trying to bunt the ball down toward Cabrera at first base.
That's pulled and caught by Inge. Look at that reaction play. That thing was headed down the left field line.
Yes, it was. Cabrera didn't even get out of the batter's box.
One gone. Here comes Brantley. Brantley today, a late addition to the lineup. Brady Sizemore not playing with back spasms. He had a single and scored a run in the first. Otherwise, a fly ball will pop up in a ground out. Runner back. "26 hits between the two teams. Tigers have 16 hits, and the Indians have 10. Two 2-0 on Brantley. White Sox leading Minnesota. That game is in the 9th inning, 5-4. Trying to slow down the hot Twins. Ground ball to short, could be 2. There's 1. Here comes the relay. There's your double play.
Nice feed by Santiago.
6-4-3, bottom of the 9th. Coming up. Bank, strength and stability since 1849. Wallside Windows. For a free in-home estimate, call 1-800-521-7800. And by Bell Tire. Get the best tire price, period. Bell Tire. Last call for the Tigers. As we go to the bottom of the ninth inning, rally caps are out. Tigers down by a pair, 8-6 our score. Ryan Rayburn will lead it off against Chris Perez. First pitch outside and low, 1-0 on Rayburn. Ordonez Cabrera to follow, so not going to be easy for Perez. Base runner brings the tying run to the plate. 1-1. High fly ball headed toward the corner and foul ground, and this one continues to sail, and back into the seats it goes. And a souvenir. It's 1-2 on Rayburn. Rayburn stays alive. Ryan came on as a pinch hitter for Don Kelly in the 7th and walked. This Indian staff giving up a ton of walks in this series, 18. Ground ball slowly towards short. Routine there for Cabrera. One gone. It's going to bring up Ordonez. Bags with a 2-run single and a walk today. Line drive, base hit, left field.
He is on fire. Sizzling hot.
Second hit today for Maglio. He has a 6-game hitting streak. More importantly, it brings a tying run to the plate. What a day for Cabrera. He's been on base 5 times.
He presents problems for most pitchers because he likes to swing at the first pitch. And as a pitcher, you're trying to lay that first one in there to get ahead of a hitter like Miguel. And when you do that, a lot of times he makes you pay.
That's way outside. 1-0. Well, it'd be nice to see him making pay right here. Miguel has 2 home runs this year. Tigers down by 2.
Outfielders are playing rather deep now for the Cleveland Indians. No doubles depth is what it's called. They don't want anything hit over their heads.
Kearns, Brantley, and Chu in the outfield, all deep. Ooh, big rip. 1-2.
Good fastball, 95. Registered on the radar gun. Perez is a closer in waiting. He would have been that in St. Louis, but they had to give him up in the DeRosa deal. And once Kerry Wood leaves, don't know when that's going to be, Perez will be their closer.
He had 27 saves one year. That was 07 in the minor leagues. Now the crowd trying to help Cabrera out. 2-2. 3-2. .304, seventh inning or later for Cabrera in crunch time. He has delivered. He walked him, and now the tying runs are on. Cabrera reaches for the 6th time today.
One of the things that makes Cabrera so impressive is the fact that he will not go out of the strike zone just to try to drive in a run. He also has the uncanny ability to look for a breaking ball and at least foul off the fastball. You can't put it in play aggressively, but he has the ability to do that. And Perez giving him way, way too much credit, although he's earned that respect, that replay courtesy of Bell Tire.
All right, here's Guillen now with the bases. On the bases, the tying run. Carlos takes the ball down low. He is one swing away from a walk-off Tigers win. Meanwhile, Marson calls time. Carlos 1 for 5 today, had a single in the 8th. Johnny Damon is on the bench today, and just in case he might be needed, he's loosening up. Here's the 1-0. Driven down the right field line. That ball is down. Fair ball. It goes all the way to the wall. Ordonez will score. Cabrera goes to third. It's a one-run game, and the Tigers are in big-time business.
Back in the 6th inning, when the Tigers were trailing 7-1, Jim Leyland could have taken the luxury of taking his star players out of the game to get them ready for tomorrow. But he must have had an idea that his team was going to have a chance to come back in this game. And because he left Maglio, Cabrera, and Guillen in the game, they now find themselves 1 run short of coming back to tie the game, 2 runs away from winning. A lot of managers would have taken their stars out of the game after it became apparent that this game was going to go to Cleveland.
Well, Leland's strategy has a chance to really work here. The Tigers down by 1. They will have Inge at the plate.
And it's good to see Guillen perk up a little bit because he has started to understand that they're just not going to give Cabrera anything good to hit. If they come back and win this game, partner,
wow, it's right. Down 5-0. Down 7-1. Right now it's an 8-7 game. You've got the tying run at third base, Cabrera, the winning run at second, Guillen.
They're playing the infield in. This is a golden opportunity for the Tigers to win this game. When you play that infield in, the batting average goes up, way up.
Inge had an RBI single in the 8th. Shatters his bat, rolls it left side, knocked down. Here's the throw to first, and scooped by Marte. What a play.
What a scoop.
A shattered bat roller that looked like it might find the hole between third and short.
Of course, the runners had to hold with the infield being in. A nice diving play by Cabrera. And we already told you he's got a tremendous arm from that shortstop position. And he needed all of that to get the out. Perez is fired up, but he's not out of the woods yet.
No, he's not. Santiago has 2 hits today and 2 runs scored. Well, that's just a terrific play all the way around.
Had it not been for the range of Cabrera, that ball scoots through and at least 1 run scores with the infield in.
Tigers down to their final out now. Here is Santiago. Ball 1. Ball 2. Laird is due up next.
He won't hit though.
Damon is lurking on the bench.
If Santiago gets on.
First things first.
That's true. Good count. 2-0.
2-1. Johnny Damon has his bat. He has his helmet. Waiting to see if he might get in this game. Santiago trying to end it with a base hit. Ball 3-1. Now the helmet is on the head of Johnny Damon as he gets closer and closer, possibly to pinch hitting here. Three and one on Santiago. He lost him. Ball 4. The bases are loaded.
The crowd is up.
That's 20 walks in this series for Cleveland pitching. 20. Johnny Damon coming up.
As you can see, the majority of the pitches that were thrown by Perez on Fox tracks were out of the strike zone to Santiago.
So Johnny Damon now is announced as the pinch hitter. Tigers down by a run in the 9th. They have him loaded with 2 outs. 397 with the bases loaded. That's over his career. Ball 1. Here's the 1-0. Outside, 2 balls and no strikes. Rally caps perhaps working here this afternoon.
Got to be taken here. At least 1 strike because Perez has had a difficult time of finding the strike zone the last couple of hitters.
And he missed again. 3-0.
He wouldn't walk him in, would he?
Sure. Why not? Whoever it takes. Damon taking ball 4, and the Tigers have tied it up. A pinch hit, bases loaded walk for Johnny Damon.
Fans are loving it.
The Tigers have come all the way back to tie this one up.
If you're Sizemore, you've got to take at least 1. You don't really ever want to take fastballs down the middle when you get a chance to win a game late, but you may have to take 1 here.
And he does, and it rolls away, and here comes the winning run.
Wow.
Guillen scores, and the Tigers pull this one out 9-8.
That's why managers don't like to go to their closers in the 8th, because a lot of them struggle when they go back out there for the 9th, and what a win by the Tigers today.
Do you believe this night can...
I have to. I just witnessed it.
A bases loaded walk, and a pitch that gets away from the catcher Marson.
And the Tigers continue to show tremendous comeback ability. Looked like Guillen was off and running on this play as soon as the ball hit the dirt. He's got tremendous base running instincts, does Guillen. Good base running instincts. And you talked about Marson and the fact that he struggles blocking balls. Oh, my goodness, what a bad loss for Cleveland. And a great win for the Tigers.
Unbelievable. Bad loss is right. Great win is right as well. And the happy bench explodes onto the field. A Tigers celebration today as they come back from several large deficits and win with 3 in the bottom of the 9th. 9-8 our final score. The Tigers sweep the Indians out of town. We'll be back with more from Comerica Park. Great day for Tigers fans.